Well, it is Memorial Day, and I figured why not take some time to hang out with everyone. You know, it's a day when many gave the ultimate sacrifice, paid the ultimate price for us to be able to have live streams and enjoy our lawns and that kind of thing. So why not spend some time just hanging out today and just chatting about lawn care and whatever else you guys want to talk about. It is a rainy day here in Northeast Georgia. It's as far as working on the lawn. If you're planning on doing that today, maybe later on, but I think right now you're pretty much rained out. So figure we can hang out and chat with folks in other parts of the country where it's not raining and just figure out what you guys are up to, talk about lawn care, any other projects you might have, any questions you might have, and just have fun for as long as anyone's out here. So we'll see. Might be a long stream, might be a shorter stream, and we'll see how it works out. For those of you that are not familiar, my name is Ron Henry. I talk about lawn care products. I host a live lawn care Q&A, and I am also the owner of the Golf Course Lawn Store, where we sell premium lawn care products to help you get the lawn that your neighbors will absolutely envy. As far as our primary platform, it is YouTube. But you guys can also get us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I'm missing one. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Yeah, so all four of those. You can get us on any one of those. And again, feel free to be part of the conversation. So the way this works is I work through the questions and the orders they come in. And if you have something you want to chat about, feel free to drop it in the comments. And a lot of times I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have a great time talking about lawn care. And again, sometimes life topics. All right, so let's see what we got here as far as questions. First of all, we have Larry Hayes chiming in saying, let's go. All right, Larry, yes, let's get it. I also see some folks here on Instagram as well, too. So you guys feel free to be part of the conversation as well if you guys want. And then next, we got Platinum Exteriors with the first question. He says, I have a 6-blade manual reel mower. What is a good alternative if I want to get into mechanical reel mowing, but I don't have $1,200 to spend? Okay, so I think you mean, so you want to transition from a push manual reel mower to a powered reel mower. Uh, in years past when I got this question, I would have told you to go look for a pre-owned true cut. But the challenge with that platinum exteriors is that getting parts for those mowers has gotten more and more difficult here in recent years. So in good conscience, I really can't recommend one, because if you did get one and something went wrong with it, you'd be hard pressed to find parts. Um, if $1,200 is the budget, or less than $1,200 is the budget, you're going to want to look at a pre-owned like California trimmer or pre-owned McLean. Having said that, I mean, honestly, if you're able to delay getting the mower and save up a bit, like, you will be so much happier with that new mower that Real Rollers is putting out, the Revolution. I mean, I know it's a lot more than $1,200, but I mean, over the course of the time you're going to own it, in other words, if you went out and you got like a trimmer or a McLean, again, not that there's anything wrong with those mowers, but the Revolution is just so much better given what you pay for it, and given that you're going to have it for years and years and years. Like, that is where I would put my money, honestly. Even if it meant like I'm not going to get a power wheel mower this season, but I'm going to save up and wait till next year, like, that would be the way to go. Or even, case in point, like what you might find too is you might be able to pick up a Revolution pre-owned, right? Right now, kind of unlikely, because people are they're still ordering them. They're selling as many of them as they can make. But you never know. Someone at some point this season or early next season may move on to something else. They may get a greens mower. They may get, who knows, or they may get out of real mowing. You never know what it is. So as far as the the possibility of getting one pre-owned, like, I would even hold out for that before I would get one of the other options that I'm telling you about. So it's really up to you. Like, how important is it to you that you get a real mower for this season? Because I get it. We're still, we're not even really halfway through the season yet. So I get it. If you want to get your lawn looking really nice this year and you want to move into a power real mower, I understand it. And truth be known, you know what? Even if you were to go get like a trimmer or a McLean, it's not like you are not going to be able to flip it or sell it and get most of your money back, especially if you're buying a pre-owned one that's in good shape. So that's another consideration too. If you get one with the expectation that you'll then, make it brand new to someone else, then that's another way of looking at it. But if in other words, if you're going to buy a mower and it's going to be the one you're going to stick with going forward, I really would try and push you into a Revolution. I really would. So hope that helps. The 6-blade manual is not bad. I mean, they make a 7-blade. I think they make a 7-blade. I think Scott's makes a 7-blade push manual mower. You might give that a look. I mean, I know it's not powered, but I mean, it's something else to consider. I mean, it is going to cut better than the 6-blade you're probably working with right now. The one I'm talking about is, I'm not sure if they still have it on Amazonia. I don't see it here. I'm looking here really quick. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't know if they sold out. I don't see it. But oh no, yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's Earthwise. Earthwise makes it. So if you go to this this page on Amazon Platinum, and then just like do a search on that page for Earthwise, you'll find the 7-blade I'm talking about. So that is 1 blade more than what you got now, and it is going to cut a little bit better than the mower you're currently using. So there's something else to consider. I don't know if you want to get like another manual reel mower, but hopefully that helps. I mean, again, I know that you have your heart set on a powered one. If you're going to go the pre-owned route, a McLean or a trimmer is where I would look these days over a True Cut, because again, the True Cut's a good mower, but if you have parts, if something breaks on it, heaven help you. These days you can't get it's hard to getting parts for them. So I hope that helps. All right, we got our first super chat of the day. This is from Mr. Brian Hall. Thank you so much, Brian.
Super chat.
He's happy Memorial Day, Ron, and everyone in the live stream. Yeah, thanks so much for that, Brian. I really do appreciate it. It's an important day, man. I mean, it's you figure it's a lot of the freedoms and the ability for us to disagree on various topics come because of people that made that sacrifice. So it's a good day to recognize that. And again, I appreciate the super chat. It really does mean a lot. And you know what? We got to make sure we keep with protocol, because you are our first super chat that makes you the show's sponsor. So there you go. Whether you want it or not, your name in lights for whatever that means to you. Thanks so much, Brian. All right, next up, we have Alan Coleman Jr. He says, holiday stream, let's get it. Yeah, why not? I mean, you guys want to see what I was working with on the as far as outside today? So I did mow yesterday. Alex texted me yesterday and he said, He said, "Hey man, I'm about to get up there and got to go mow the lawn." I'm like, "Oh, I guess I gotta go mow too." It's a thing, It's like it's contagious. You hear one mower fire up, and you feel guilted into going there and doing yours too. And I saw in the forecast that there was a chance of rain today, but it wasn't really a chance. I mean, the sky fell out. It's been like thundering and lightning around here like crazy. So I'll show you what the lawn looks like as of now. This is an hour or so ago. So you can see rain is coming down really well. And if you look at the table, you can see all the rainfall that is hitting it. So there's not going to be a whole lot of working in the lawn, at least this morning. From what I understand, it's supposed to let up here after lunchtime. So I guess technically later on this afternoon, you could get out there and do something fun if you wanted to. But as of for the morning, it's a no-go. It's a hard no-go. Rich Too Bad says, "Hey, Ron, what's going on, Rich? Hopefully you're doing all right, sir." And the next up is Michael H. Chaffin says, "Glad to see you're still at it. Been a while since I got one of your videos." Interesting, because I never really stopped, Michael. So I'm not sure if maybe you're just not getting the notifications. That could be it. But I mean, every day a piece of content goes on YouTube. So like a lot of what's in the live streams, like the questions that I get that are the really good ones, or where I get the same one over and over, those get published as YouTube shorts. So that happens pretty much not pretty much, it does happen every day since, I don't know, August, September last year. Every day a piece of content goes on YouTube. And then as far as some of the longer form content, that has been less this year, but there's still been, I mean, this month already, there's already been 2 or 3 videos. So yeah, I'm not sure. Check to make sure you're still subscribed and that the notifications are turned on, because you should be getting notified, because I am still making content. I'm still here. Alex is up next. He says, "Happy Memorial Day from Austin, Texas." What's going on, Alex? Thank you for taking some time to come hang out. And then Omar Tovar says, "Happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you're doing all right." And then, all right, we got our first participant here from the Gram. From the Gram is chiming in. He's saying, "Man, it is pouring rain like crazy. Feeling good that I dropped some fertilizer yesterday." Yep, it sure is. Again, the sky fell out. Like I got woken up this morning to thunder and lightning, and it's going on. It's actually calmed down a bit, but it was really heavy there about an hour or so ago. But that's good. It's good to get your fertilizer out, and good job timing that. It's always a good thing. It's gonna, nothing like free water to water that your lawn care product in and to give the lawn a good drink. And I will say this. Yes, watering your lawn is good, like running irrigation is good, but the lawn, there's nothing like just like rainfall. Like the way the lawn looks the day after rain, like the color looks nicer. I mean, it's just better than what you get whenever you're irrigating it yourself. So I'm glad to hear you're taking advantage of what Mother Nature has given us. All right, next up we got Larry Hayes. It's a good question. He says, "Is liquid aeration as effective as core aeration?" In my opinion, no, not even close, Larry. I mean, if you think about it, like liquid aeration, you are increasing the microbial activity in the soil, and the idea is that that's going to help break down like thatch layers and that kind of thing over time. But really, if you have a soil that's very compacted, core aeration, where you are literally removing plugs, right, and giving the compacted soil an area to relax into, is far superior. I mean, as far as getting air, water, nutrient, and relieving compaction, core aeration is far superior than liquid aeration. Now, you can still take a liquid aeration product like a kelp product or a humic acid product and apply those afterwards, and that's still going to get you some benefits. But as far as core aeration being equal to liquid, or liquid being equal to core, not even remotely close. A great way to also see this is that on golf courses, whenever they're doing greens, they don't do liquid aeration, they core aerate them, right? If they could get by with just spraying a product that would produce the same results, believe me, they would do it, but it's just not even in the same universe. So that's also an answer for you there. So I hope that helps. Get out there and core aerate your lawn. It's one of the best things you can do as far as improving lawn health. Good one, Larry. That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, the thing, when it comes to that, a lot of folks will try and lean on the liquid aeration route, because to be honest, it's just easier, right? Core aeration is a workout. It's a workout. I mean, it's even if you could Thanos snap, right, and get the machine there, so just show it up at your house, it's still you still have to run it, and depending on your how strong you are, and just your desire to work with heavy lawn equipment, it could be a bit of a pain, right? So there is that, but as far as relieving compaction in your lawn, it's not even in the same universe, man. It's not. They are not the same. I know a lot of marketing will say, liquid aeration just as good. It's not. It just isn't. It just isn't. I mean, and if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, right? If you take a soil that's very, very compacted, like a clay soil, let's say from this perspective, right? If you're looking at just like reducing thatch over time, right, then yes, like using a liquid aeration product has some merits, but but as far as like a compacted clay lawn or clay soil profile, like nothing is going to really beat knocking holes in it, removing some of that soil so that literally the areas that were all like compacted and tight, now they've got a place to relax into. And if you don't believe me, if you do decide to core aerate your lawn, go walk on it afterwards. You'll feel like how the soil is a lot, just it's softer, it's more malleable. It's just, you can tell that as far as relieving compaction, is allowing water, air, nutrients, everything to get in the soil, and just all the benefits that come with it. It's another thing. It's another level. It's almost like someone that says, can you use a liquid aeration product or a liquid thatch buster? It's a good another thing, because another thing they'll also sell it like thatch buster products or whatever. That's how they'll market them. Is that as good as like turf raking your lawn? No, it is not. It's less work, but it is not as good. Like as far as like getting debris out of your lawn in a timely manner, like turf raking, like a mechanical machine doing that is like, it is appreciably better, way better than than spraying a liquid product. Again, it's more work, but it's just not as good. It's not as good. If you think about it, it really makes sense that they really wouldn't be equivalent. And if you want to learn more about core aeration, I've got a great blog post to include a video on the topic here. But yeah, but the thing is these days too, is even, I say one of the negatives of core aeration is that you have to go out there and rent the machine and bring it home and run it and have to rinse it off and all the headache, but really you can just pay a service to come do it. The only thing you have to worry about is whenever they show up to say, hey, listen, whenever you guys show up, I'm really particular about my lawn. Please rinse the tines off, clean the machine up before you put it on my lawn. That's really the only thing. But then as far as you having to do it yourself, it's not necessarily even a barrier these days. You can just hire a service to do it. So I hope that helps. All right, next up, we got Chris Styles, super chat from him. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
He says, can you use lime on your lawn in the summer? Yes. Yep, you can. You can. You sure can. There's no, I mean, the video that, I think I've already answered this question in the live stream a couple, if not this past one, Chris, but the one before. But yes, like the video that I did on lime I think it was in 2021, because I got this question a couple years ago. And I said, you know what? I'll test it. I'll do it. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll actually do it, and we'll see the results. And you know what? I might be able to pull the soil test results up to actually show you guys what I'm talking about here. But I'll show you the video first of all. I'll link that to you. This is it. This is the like lime in. It would be this weekend, believe it or not. So it's 2021, I think, is when that video was done. So it's like 3 years to like this time of year is when it happened, because it was between the end of May to June is when I shot that video. Lime in summer. So yeah, so this video right here is the one I'm talking about. And as far as saying, well, was it effective? If you put lime out in the summer, it's still going to work. You're still going to get a good result. How do you know you're not just wasting your time? Because lime can only be applied in the fall. I will show you the results. So if I'm going to do a comparison here, and we'll compare reports. And one of them is going to be, give me 1 second here. I'll get this all queued up. So this guy and this guy, and I think compare selected samples. I think this is the one. This is not the one. These two are not the ones. It would be no, it would be fall and summer 2021. So that guy and this guy, and compare. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so if I show you guys here, first of all, Chris, let me make sure I get you guys our show sponsor. So thanks so much for the super chat. Make sure I take care of that before I get distracted and forget. And you send me hate mail and be like, wait, man, where's all the love? I thought we were bros and everything, and now you do me like that. So let me take care of that really quick. Christos405, your name in lights, for whatever that means to you, you are our show sponsor. And then as far as lime, the results. So the video I just linked to you was from 2021, right? That video is what drove the soil results you're about to see right now. Okay, so if you look here, the dark blue is May. You can see May 28th right here, May 28th, 2021. So actually one day, like three years ago, one day in the future is when the lime app is when this sample was taken. And then the lime was applied. And then if you look at, what is that, 4 months later, 5 months later, so October, you can see the movement in pH. So this is the pH in the summer, and this is after the lime application, which you guys can see in that video that I just linked to you. And these are the results. So you can see between May to October, to late May to early October, really from June to October, the movement. So yes, you can absolutely do a lime application in the summertime and still get a good result. I mean, there's no worry about that. Probably the biggest challenge I would say, Chris, is make sure that whenever you are, if all you care about is just pH, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're also looking to measure the other nutrient levels and have those numbers, that data actually be like make sense, make sure that you have 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks is better. From the last time you did any kind of a granular input into the soil to when you take samples. So what you would not want to do is go out and put out fertilizer and then the next week go and pull soil samples. That's going to skew your results that you get as far as like the measured nutrient values. So if you can wait until the day or so before you're about to put fertilizer out again and get your samples, then it's going to be a bit more accurate. But again, that video and the soil test results you guys just saw shows you that yes, you can do it at this time of year, because to the day, that's when it would happen, and then what the results can be, just a few months later. So hope that helps. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. And if you need anything else, do let me know. It's a good question. Next up, we have Richard. He says, Ron, what are your thoughts on Nutrizolve? Great product. It's just we have trouble getting it these days, and that's why we are moving to, I don't know if I have a bottle here. We're moving to our own micronutrient, which you guys are gonna be able to get here in a couple of weeks. So if you can think of this is like Nutrizolve, but better. That's the best way to say it. 'Cause I mean, I like Nutrizolve. I've used it for years. So again, it's a great product. Again, the biggest challenge, and some of you guys that use it regularly know every year, and at least for the past couple of years, there's been challenges with keeping in the stock and getting enough of the product. There's been a couple of other issues as well. So as a way to just to solve all those things and have more control over it, I spent the last year working with the Andersons on a replacement that you guys are going to be able to apply at the same rates. So to make things easier, it's like the same rates that you used before for Nutrizolve will work for this. But this also has an additional ingredients in it. So as far as like fulvic acid to help improve uptake, it's just a better product literally in every way compared to Nutrizolve. So I think, again, nothing wrong with it. I like Nutrizolve. I can use it for years, but it's again, just due to challenges and some other things, it's just become easier to move on to something else. That's actually a better product. And I had a year to test this, so I feel good standing behind it and offering it to you guys. So again, because I've been using this since August-ish, I think, last year. So yeah, I've been testing it for a while now. All right, next up we have Marcus Shelton. He says, leveling. After leveling, can you fertilize and apply herbicides on the same day? Yes, you could. Yes, you can. So you're saying, okay, so if you're talking about doing a leveling project, I would apply the fertilizer prior to leveling personally, but you're talking about so after leveling. So you've already topped your salon, it's recovered. You want to put out fertilizer, and you also need to spray some herbicides. You can absolutely do them on the same day, Marcus. The order that I would do them in is I would apply the fertilizer first and then spray herbicides afterwards. The reason being is this. If you think about it, like most, I'm assuming you're spraying like a post-emergent herbicide that is you're just going to spray on the lawn or on the areas you're trying to treat and just allow it to dry. So if you think about how most granular fertilizer works better, it's designed to be applied on, or better if it's applied to dry grass on a dry lawn, because then it doesn't stick to the leaf. There's less chance of burning. It just gets past the canopy in the soil so it can work better. Another reason is if you were to do it the opposite way. So you go out and you spray the lawn with herbicide, and then you go put fertilizer out. Yeah, yes, you're going to be wearing your PPE, but why go out and walk around in a lawn that you just sprayed herbicides on? So as a general rule for me, anything that ends in side, so if I'm spraying fungicide, insecticide, herbicide, I do that last. So if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put out like growth regulator and spray fertilizer or apply granular fertilizer. I do all those things first, and then the last thing I do is spray herbicide, and then I'm off the lawn and I just let it dry. And then what you'll find is the following day is when you would run your irrigation. So if you do them on the same day, let's say for example you were spraying, let's say Celsius and surfactant, right? And you're also putting out humic max. Ideally, the thing you're probably thinking about is, well, I put fertilizer out, I need to water it in. But really, you can wait till the following day to water your fertilizer in. Because what you wouldn't want to do, again, is you would not want to spray a post-emergent herbicide and then go run irrigation right afterwards. So what I would do is I would put out your granular fertilizer, I would spray herbicides wherever you needed to spray them, and then the following day, run irrigation to water the fertilizer in, and you're good to go. That's how I would go about it. So hope that helps. It's a good question, and hopefully that makes sense to you as far as the sequencing behind doing things. You know, and actually, you know what? I have another video here I'm gonna send to you really quick. It's a short one, and it's on this very topic, and it's on like what order to apply lawn care products. And I actually show one. It's a video where I'm talking about like the carbon kit and insecticide, all this kind of stuff. I think it was last year I shot this, but take a look at this. This would be a good one for you as well too. What order? There we go. So you have something, and it's short. It's like less than a minute to apply lawn products. There we go. All right. Next up, we have Omar Tovar. And guys, we got like 68 people in the live stream, only 27 likes. If you guys would not mind, hit the like button. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's a free way to support the channel. So hit that like button if you have not done it as yet. It would make me feel so much better. All right, so Jared George is up here with a super chat. Thanks so much, Jared. I appreciate it.
Super chat received.
Thanks, sir. And then next, we have Omar Tovar. He says, we moved into our house this year. New sod was laid down, and the lawn is very bumpy. Should I be concerned about leveling in its first year or just be concerned about grass and root growth? You can do both. I mean, it doesn't, if the lawn is established to where you're mowing it, if you're out there regularly mowing it, you can absolutely level in the first year, Omar. There's no problem with that. So in other words, you can do all the things. So I'll give you an example. Like if you look at our, like how to go from zero to hero with your lawn on the Golf Course Lawn Store, like this infographic, if you go to shop and then just scroll down, like the 5-step process, right? Control weeds, do a soil test, fertilize your lawn, mow, and mow some more, and then enjoy it. Like really, even though they are shown in like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, like the only ones that really are, or you have to do one before the other, or I recommend doing one before you do the other, is the soil test and fertilization, because really you want to know what the soil test results say before you fertilize. But you can literally, let's say you had that already done. Let's say you already did your soil test and you already had your fertilizer. You could literally, previous viewer mentioned, you could fertilize your lawn, you could spray for weeds on the same day, and then you wouldn't want to mow that day. But I mean, the point is that it's not like these have to be weeks apart. You can take care of weeds, get your soil test done, get your fertilization done. In your case, you're trying to do some leveling. You can do that as well too. So I would not, I would say in your case, get a soil test, get your nutrient program figured out as far as what fertilizer you want to use, and then use that along with your leveling work. If you have not fertilized yet this year, or say you decide, yeah, I'm gonna go level my lawn next week or whatever, right? And you're looking also to put out a fertilizer app. If you can delay applying the fertilizer prior to, or if you can delay the leveling until you put the fertilizer out, that would be better. So given the option when it comes to leveling a lawn, I would say, or the sequence I would recommend for leveling a lawn, I would recommend that you core aerate, especially if it's the first time you're doing it. Core aerate, put out any fertilizer or biostimulants that you want to do, like Essential G is a great option, Humic Max or whatever fertilizer you want to use is a great option, and then level the lawn, and then you're good to go. Just wait, allow it to recover, and you'll be good to go. Any good service, like good services that, I mean, let's say any good service, not all of them do it, but all the ones that I've ever heard about that I think are reputable are going to incorporate some kind of aeration into the leveling work, unless you specifically say you don't want that. But I mean, as a general rule, they're going to aerate your lawn as part of leveling. So just something else to consider. But yeah, man, get with it. There's no reason to wait till next year. You got the new lawn. If you're out there mowing it, it's looking good. Yeah, get out there and level it. Have fun. And then next up is Ant Live. He says, "Hey Ron, on the end of April, grass April 1st. Okay, the end of April to May 1st. My grass was aerated along with the carbon applied. It is Memorial Day. Am I able to put down PGF? Yes, it's been a month. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. It's been a month since the last time sounds like you put any kind of granular inputs in, and if you want to put out fertilizer a month later, that would be okay. I don't see any problem with that. Vahid Navi's up next. He says, "Morning, everyone. What's going on, Vahid?" Jackie Bear saying, happy morning, happy day, everybody. What's going on, Jackie? All right, you guys in the gram, feel free to also be part of the conversation as well too. I know that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the camera angle, because right now I know I'm all up in all of this is in your face, which is not ideal, but at least you guys get to see stuff whenever I post it or share something on the screen. So there's that. Corey is up next. He says, "Happy Memorial Day, Ron. For weeds that have been killed off, black and shriveled up, do I pull out every single one? Too low to mow over." It's up to you. I wouldn't. I mean, normally, if they're dead, they'll just break down and over the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? I really wouldn't go out there and pull them all out individually unless you just really want to. So I'm trying to think. Whenever I've sprayed for weeds on my lawn, I don't go over then and then pull the dead weeds out. So good example is I have a couple of areas of my lawn where every year I spray for sedges, right? For nutsedge. And then once the nutsedge is dead and burnt to a crisp, I just run over with my mower and just keep going on about my day, because it's dead, it's gone, at least for this year anyway. And the grass just kind of grows into that area where it used to be, and life is good. So I don't do that. I'm not seeing your lawn, so I don't know what you're talking about. If you have like large areas where there's just tons of dead weeds and you want to move them, or you're trying to put sod down or transfer plugs into that area, in that case maybe. But as if you're talking about dead weeds here and there, I don't do anything about it. I just run over them. I just keep on with my day. All right, Brian Hall's up next. He says, "Morning, Ron. I just ran this email regarding my soil test results. Did you get them?" I don't think I did, Brian. If so, I'm not sure when you send them, because I don't have anything now. Brian Hall. Actually, no. Yeah, I do have them. Cool. Yep, I got them. My bad. You sent them. Yes, Friday. I see you sent it Friday late at like around near midnight after the live stream was over. Let me see if I can show this really quick. Let me take a screenshot and pull this. This will work. I can make this work. Brian. Let's see. So we will do that. We can do it live. Why not? It's a quiet and short day, kind of an impromptu live stream, so we can make this happen. All right, I think that will work. All right, so these are the soil test results that Brian just sent over, and let me just do this, Brian soil test, that way I can easily find it again. All right, so this is what he sent over as far as his soil test results, and so overall, Brian, so you're going to want a balanced fertilizer of some sort. So your phosphorus is just outside of the Goldilocks zone, just outside of where it should be. Your pH is in great shape, which is good, because I always like to see that, because that's honestly one of the harder things to correct. So, or one of the things that's more time consuming to correct, right? So in your case, like the 14-7-14, the complete 14-7-14 that we carry would be a great choice. It's got 14% nitrogen, a bit of phosphorus, or 7% phosphorus, and then 14% potassium. That's going to help like even this out a bit. And then it's also got some iron, a bit of manganese, I believe. So as far as just a good balanced fertilizer to raise nutrient level overall based on your soil test results, it would be a good fit. So I'll show you the one that I'm talking about, and I'll actually send you a link here. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop and go to lawn fertilizer. It's going to be the second option, which is this guy right here. So I'll copy this and I'll send that over to you, because you can see this is based on your soil test. You can see it's like, if you think about it, it's like more N, put it this way, more N, more K, and some phosphorus. And what your soil needs is more N, more K, and a bit of phosphorus. So it's an excellent fit. It's a really, really good fit for your for what's going on in your lawn. So I will send this over to you, sir. And again, thanks for sending the soil test results. You see how that worked out? You got to get your answer live versus me just emailing you and saying, hey, go do this. So hope that helps, sir. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Next up is the Wind Chariot. Wind Chariot, man, I haven't seen you in a while. He says, happy Memorial Day, firing up the grill for a couple of tomahawks, and then I'm going to get a quick mow and freshen up a bit. Nice. At least someone's got good weather. It's raining like crazy here, so we're not going to be able to, there's not going to be any mowing, at least not this morning anyway. So enjoy it. Enjoy grilling and mowing, and have a good time. Lando, let's see. Lando the Commando, love that name. Lando the Commando. He says, how do you feel about electric equipment? I have a bunch of Eagle equipment. I've been enjoying it for the last 3 years. I mean, I like it. I've got my Allet. My Allet C27 is, the Evolution is electric. And it's a great piece of equipment. I mean, as far as like maintenance, there's definitely less maintenance with electric than there is with gas powered mowers. The thing I would say is this is electric mowers, or going electric in many ways, in my opinion, really depends on your lawn size, right? So for like a string trimmer or like a combination tool, not as big a deal. But if you're using like an electric mower to cut your lawn, like if you have a larger lawn like mine, right, where it's almost 12,000 square feet, like you're gonna have challenges with at least like electric reel mowers, like the one, like take for example the Sterling back there, like that would not work on my lawn, because I literally would not be able to get through an entire mow without having to charge the batteries, which is kind of a pain. So that means for a lawn my size, now you have to go get something that's a lot bigger, a lot more expensive batteries. I mean, if you look at even the Evolution, I mean, that mower now is quite expensive. I think Al's asking almost 19,000 for them now. So they've gone up a lot since from the years ago, from whenever I got mine. And then as far as batteries, because it uses commercial batteries, the batteries are like $500 each, and then the charger's like another $250, and you need two of them because it takes three. So there's as far as it being cheaper, left to be seen, right? It's a lot of the costs for running it are definitely on the front end. So as far as like batteries and chargers and everything else, definitely front loaded. So yeah, I mean, but it is cool. It is nice to be able to go out and mow and not come back in and smell like gasoline fumes. Like that is one thing that I notice whenever I use the Allet, and then whenever I use my Greensmaster, which still love that mower, great mower, or I use the Revolution. That is one thing that is noticeable. Like you don't smell really when you come back in, whereas when you use a gas powered mower, you do have like fossil fuels being fumes on you. You see, so that is a thing. So it depends. I think it depends. I mean, if you like electric, you have a smaller lawn, then I think it makes a lot of sense. But for going 100% electric, I mean, if you have a bigger property, it can become cost prohibitive, at least right now anyway, if you're real mowing. So hope that helps, Lando. I mean, people that are into electric seem to really like them. And again, I love my Allet C27. It's a great piece of equipment. I mean, not even really as a mower. It's good as a mower, but it's really good as everything else. Like being able to verticut and turf rake and that kind of thing. Like that is really cool. And that's not really based on it being electric or gas. It's just more the utility of the machine. But yeah. So hope that helps. I think it's very much based on the situation, your lawn size, your budget, and then based on that, you can decide which way you want to go. While I look for the next comment, I guess one other benefit of an electric, right, is if I'm filming content and I want to, like, for example, the video that I did on lawn striping, on like how to mow thick lawn stripes. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll send it to you. Like, I consider doing that video with the Greensmaster with the Revolution, but you know what? Those mowers are louder. Whereas with the Evolution, literally I was able to do it, and I wasn't having to like raise my voice or talk loud. It just like you really couldn't even really hear the mower running. So that is a definite benefit to electrics. They're just quieter, right? So if you guys are interested in like thick lawn stripes, then this video shows that, and then you'll see the Owlet running in it. All right, Higgy pops up next. He says, "Lots of rain this morning. Good thing I mowed yesterday." Yeah, you and me both. We're on the same. Program there, Higgy. You know, Alex texted and said, "Hey man, I'm gonna go out and mow," and I said, "Yeah, I guess what? I guess I'm gonna mow too." And just like you, we got rain today, so good thing we got it done yesterday. Next up, we have Robert Marks. He says, "Hey Ron, thanks for all you do. In 2021, I overseeded with Lesco perennial ryegrass on my sodded Bermuda lawn. I dug up all the ryegrass, but hadn't had an issue with rye. But in the same year, I overseeded with, I don't know what you're saying next. With Scott Common Bermuda. Concerning PGR, I've been putting it down at the common rate. How can I tell if I have hybrid or common? What to do about rates going forward?" Okay, so the ryegrass overseed doesn't really matter. It's really your question is okay, so I see what you're saying. So you had a Bermuda lawn, it sounds like. You overseeded it with ryegrass a couple years ago. That's no longer a thing. And then you got some Scots grass seed and put common, you overseeded your hybrid with common Bermuda, which is not a great, you're probably learning now, it wasn't a great idea, not the best idea necessarily. So I guess your question is, how can you tell if you have common or hybrid? If your lawn had Bermuda in it, like when you bought your house and there was sod, it was more than likely hybrid. Like it's more likely hybrid, and it's more than likely 419, because that's what is used like pretty much all around here. Unless you went out and you spent the money to have zoysia put in, or you pay to have like a particular type of grass installed, it's more than likely going to be Tifway 419. I have not seen any developments around, at least in my area that I've come across, that are sodding lawns with common and Bermuda. It's pretty much all hybrid. So the question that you now have is, you have a blend of a hybrid and common Bermuda lawn, which is not great, because the video that I did last week, or got published last week anyway, that was talking about this very problem, right? So in your case, you introduced common, it sounds like, to your hybrid lawn. What do you do if you have a lawn that is hybrid Bermuda, but you also have common Bermuda in it? Because to your point, the rate for common is 3 times higher. It's like 0.75 ounces per thousand per month versus 0.25 ounces per thousand per month for hybrid. So it's like 3 times the amount. And so what do you do? And what you'll find, because I've had some viewers that have had this kind of this issue, and they have sprayed their hybrid Bermuda with a common rate, and it does not go well. It doesn't kill the grass, but it causes discoloration, and the grass does not tolerate it well. So what you can do, a couple things, is one, you could try spraying at the higher end of the hybrid rate, which is just under 0.4 ounces per thousand. So if you're doing it the way I would recommend, is you wouldn't spray once per month, you spray every 2 weeks. So you take 0.4, cut that in half, so you come up with a 0.2 and spray that every a couple of weeks. Or you can, I don't have a bottle of it here. Actually, one second. Actually, I do have a bottle. One sec, be right back. So I can find I had one that I was taking pictures with it. All right, so another option you could do, which that video, which I'll link to you here in a second, will also highlights, is you can do a mixture of growth regulators. You can use Primo, which again tends to last a bit longer, and with that you can stack a growth regulator called a new EZ. This is awesome product. I mean, I started with this year testing it, and I really like the results, because my lawn has like small spots of common throughout it, and what you tend to find is common Bermuda tends to be lighter in color, so it looks more lime greenish in my opinion compared to hybrids, and especially as it gets hot, it grows faster. So you'll notice that you've mowed your lawn, you go look at it a couple days later, and you'll see literally some parts of the lawn that are higher, a little bit higher than others, because the common grows faster than the hybrid, especially since you're not able to use the correct amount of Primo to regulate it adequately. So what you can do is you can take Primo, So still use that, and you can stack it with a new at low rates, and then you get the best of both worlds, because this growth regulator, there's one rate that you can use for both common and hybrid, and it tends to regulate more evenly. So whereas with Primo, you've got to be like, if you're using common, you got to up the rate. If you're using hybrid, less rate. With this, it's not so much the case. It's more like it's a more even regulation across the board. So mixing these two, I really like the results that I get with it. Case in point, I've had people in the past, pretty much every year, someone will be like, "Hey man, I can see you got some common in your lawn." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I'm working on it, trying to figure it out." But this year I've not had that. This year I've not had not a single comment on all the shorts, all the videos that I've been posting of the lawn when I do like sweeps to the back lawn and show it. No one has commented on like, "Hey man, I can see that there's different grass in here," because it does a better job of masking it. And as far as the color, overall the color is more even. So I'll send you a couple of things. I'll send you a link to a new, and then I'll also send you a link to the video from like last week that talks about this very problem. I mean, if you've got a lawn that is if you're looking to get like more even regulation or have it last even longer, you can still incorporate a new. But if it's a case where you have a mixture of hybrid and common and you're trying to use growth regulator, it is literally a game changer. It makes a big difference as far as just evening things out. So I'd highly recommend it. As far as cost, it comes in a 64 ounce. So the cost per application is really not that much more expensive than Primo. But if you look at this is 4 ounces. This is 64 ounces. So this is going to be a lot more. It's going to cost more. I think one of these bottles, the math I did comes out to like 160,000 square feet. So between 3 and 4 acres out of a single bottle. So it's going to last you a while. But this is the video you're going to want to watch, Robert. As far as that goes. So Robert Marks, and hopefully this is, wait, I did the wrong thing here. Okay, yeah, this is going to be this. Just watch this video, and then I'll also give you a link to where you can take a look at a new as well, and you will like the results you get with it. Because it's funny, when I was talking to New Farm. Well, I was doing some research on like masking or hiding common Bermuda in a hybrid lawn, because there's not really a way to selectively get rid of it. I came across like some of the white papers they'd written on a new EZ, and how one of the things it can be used for is for masking common and hybrid. And even on their papers, they recommend, you think about it, they're actually sending business to Syngenta, because they actually said, yes, you can use a new by itself and it works really well, but it doesn't last as long as Primo. So even on their documentation, you can mix the two of them together and you get a lot of benefits. You get the best of both worlds. All right, so I've done jibber jabbered enough about it. That's the link to the video I'm talking about, and then this is the link to a new EZ. And to make life even easier, I've got there's like a kit that we put together that gives you both a new and Primo in it. So it saves you a little bit of money if you decide to go that route. So a new and a new EZ and Primo. So yeah, hope that helps, Robert. Going forward, I would not, if you want to do any kind of overseed work, like if you want to do ryegrass overseed in the fall, that's okay. I would really recommend that you don't do any more common Bermuda in your hybrid lawn. It's just, you're just creating a headache for yourself. It's really difficult to fix. So hope that helps. Next up, we got another super chat. This one is from Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
Super chat received.
He says, how to repair urine spots for my dog in the backyard. I use water to dilute the urine when I can. Witness her actually doing so. That works fine, but I can't catch every instance. It's a Bermuda. So there's not really a great answer for this, Marty. You can take like a rich compost like carbonized PN, and that will help the area to recover faster. But your best bet is to train her to not go all over the backyard. So do what Alex has done, which is with their dog, they have like a designated area and she always goes in. They've trained her to do that. And 9 times out of 10, not every time, but 9 times out of 10, she goes there. So you just have one area that is like scorched earth, and the rest of the lawn looks okay. But as far as, unless like kind of what you're saying, unless you were going to be out there and you're gonna water dilute the area right after you see it happen, there's not a whole lot you're going to do. Your best bet is to train the dog to like go to a specific area that's just your sacrificial spot, and just go from there. There's not I've heard I've gotten this question so often. There's different things people say to do. There's like stuff you can put in the dog's food that's supposed to make it worse or make it less bad. And I don't think any of that really works. And people always say, they blame this on girl dogs a lot. But really puppies will do the same thing. And it's really comes down to the fact that it's just concentrated in that one area. Like boy dogs will also pee on a lawn too, but they tend to pee on fences or pee on trees, or, it tends to be more spread out or dispersed, for lack of a better term, whereas girls tend to pee like in just one spot. And that really tends to see the damage that you're seeing there. So sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but your best bet is really going to be to train her to go like elsewhere, to go to one spot and just designate that as that area, and that's going to help things quite a bit. Got a super chat from Philip. I guess he took his message back, but I guess you'll have a question. But thank you so much, Philip.
Super chat received.
If you have another question, feel free to drop it in there, and then I'll revisit it. But yeah, hopefully that helps, Marty. Sorry you're dealing with that. All right. Next up is, find out where I left off, is Corey. He says, how often should you cut Bermuda, and what are your thoughts on Anderson's Humichar? Two good questions. Okay, how often you should mow Bermuda, Corey, is based on the height of cut that you want to maintain. So the long and short of it is the lower you want to maintain your lawn, the more frequently you're going to have to mow it, because the idea is that if you think about the rule for mowing grass, that is, you don't want to cut off any more than a third and at any given mowing session. That's like the maximum you ever want to take off. If you're mowing the lawn at 3/4 of an inch, then that's like 0.25, a quarter of an inch or so that you can take off. If you're mowing it at like half an inch, then it becomes, what is that, like 0.17-ish or something like that, right? That you have to take off each time. So what happens is the lower you go, the less and less, like in other words, that the number or the amount of grass that represents a third becomes less and less and less. And then if you stack that with higher temperatures, like this time of year when the grass grows more aggressively, that's going to also increase the frequency of mowing that's going to be required. So like the numbers of like mowing or maintaining a lawn at say half an inch in March or April is very different than maintaining a Bermuda lawn at half an inch in June, July. You see, because the grass is growing so much faster in June, July than it is in March, April. So the mowing frequency is largely dictated by how much time you have, what height of cut you want to maintain the lawn at, and that's going to drive how often you should mow it. At 3/4 of an inch, if you're using growth regulator, even in the heat of summer, you can get by with mowing your lawn a few times per week. I'd say in the hottest time of the year, you'll be out there 3 times a week, there-ish, 2.5, 3 times a week. I don't know how you do like half a mow, but I'm saying between 2 to 3 times a week, depending on temperatures, is what you'd be at if you're at 3/4 of an inch. If you went to half an inch or lower in the months of like June and July, you're really looking at, everyday mowing if you want to keep the lawn green between cuttings. So that's the thing. So it's really driven by you, driven by how much time you have. I will tell you, if you look at my lawn here, I think I saw a video from yesterday or the other live stream. So if you look at this lawn here, that is a Bermuda lawn that's maintained between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch. Just between 0.62 and 0.75 is what you're seeing there as far as a height of cut. And I can get by with mowing that, like I said, a few times per week. I don't have to be out there every day mowing it. The color is going to be better at 3/4 of an inch. It's going to stripe better at 3/4 of an inch. And again, just the mowing demands are going to be less so. And frankly, also another thing I didn't talk about is if you go really low, while it can look cool from a standpoint of like throwing a ball on it and watching it roll out like a fairway, the chances or the likelihood that you start having disease problems goes up as you reduce the height of cut, because you're mowing it more frequently, you're injuring the grass more frequently. If you're not staying on the ball as far as making sure your mower is sharp every single time, you just increase the chances of you having disease problems. So that's another consideration as far as really low heights of cuts on Bermuda. As far as your second question on Anderson's Humichar, it's a good product. It's very comparable to the Carbon Pro G that Miramichi makes for Lesco. It is a biochar and compost product, much like how Carbon Pro G is biochar and compost. Anderson's has I think Humachar uses their DG technology, like their dispersible granule technology. So as far as which one breaks down faster between the two, you can give the nod to Humachar. But Humachar is also quite a bit more expensive, like over double the price of Carbon Pro G. And so it's you're not really compare. I mean, as far as cost goes, for cost for coverage, it costs more. And then of the three, if it were me, the one that the product that I'm using is a product called Essential G, which has the compost, has the biochar, but also contains humate, silicon, reclaimed coffee grounds. So it's a newer formulation out of all of those. So Humachar, Carbon Pro G, Carbonized PN, they're all in the same family in my opinion. They're all released around around similar time period, and they are pretty much all compost and biochar products, and they work great. You can think of Essential G as the next step, as a newer formulation of those, or a better version of those, in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully that helps. So you know about like how often to cut your lawn. It's not as simple as just every day or every other day, every 2 days. It depends on you, like how to cut you're going for. And then as far as granular biostimulants, you got my thoughts on that too. So hope that helps. All right. Nicholas Salazar says, "What is your origin story?" Which part? What do you mean? I don't know. I think I've told my origin story before. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. What do you mean exactly, Nicholas, by my origin story? I am originally from the Caribbean. I was born in St. Croix. My parents are from the Caribbean. They still live there. Like my dad's from Antigua, my mom's from Trinidad. They still live on a small 8 square mile island called St. Eustatius, which is where I grew up. And it's the island. You guys have never heard of it because it's whenever you're on the cruise ship or you're on an airplane flying to somewhere in the Caribbean, it's the one the boats just sail right by, and it's the one that the planes just fly over and just keep going. But if you know where St. Martin is, which most of you have probably heard of, and you know where St. Kitts is, which a lot of folks have heard of, in between St. Martin and St. Kitts, you will see two dots. You'll see Saba, which is even smaller than the island I grew up on, and then you will see St. Eustatius, which is the bigger dot. So you see two dots, Saba and Statia, and St. Eustatius is, we call it Statius for short, but St. Eustatius is the larger of the two dots. It's like 8 square miles. 8 square miles, so it's tiny. Tiny island. There's like 3,000 people there now, I think. So that is where I am originally from. I came to the States in the 90s, and yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know if you want like a history lesson as far as like who is Ron. But yeah, that's I guess that's my background. If you're talking about as far as like lawn care goes, so for coming up on almost on 10 years now, or this is like the 9th going on 10th year of working on my lawn. And when I moved into this house, I just really, I looked at it and I said, man, this has got a ton of potential as far as like, this lawn could look really nice. So I started documenting the journey, documenting what I was doing, and the things that I tried that worked well, the things I tried that didn't work well. Along the way, made some great friends with folks that work in the industry, and they gave me lots of tips and guidance as far as how to grow a really good stand of turf grass. And I just started documenting that and sharing it on YouTube. And I did it really as a way just for me to have instead of having like a bunch of videos I just kept on my computer, I put it on YouTube as a way just to have like an archive that I can easily go back and look at. And folks started getting value out of it, and it just grew over time. And then, for example, what eventually happened with the Golf Course Lawn Store is I started using fertilizers from Lebanon Turf, right? So there's a fertilizer called Proscape, and they also had like a Country Club, like a 22016, I think is what it was at the time I was using. And then someone made a comment, I never forget this, but someone made a comment in a video saying, yeah, your lawn looks the way it looks because you have access to this stuff and we can't find those fertilizers where we are. So that's why your lawn looks the way it does. I said, okay, so I'll work on that. So literally one of the first products that we carried in the Golf Course Lawn Store were the fertilizers, were the Lebanon fertilizers, because I wanted to take the excuse away that like a particular, the reason why I'm able to get the results that I get, quality products, yes, absolutely makes a difference, but also the process also makes a big difference too. So to take away the excuse of, you are using all this secret sauce stuff that no one else can get, the Golf Course Lawn Store has all the secret sauce, the fungicides, the insecticides, the fertilizers, everything that I use on my lawn. Like pretty much everything I use on my lawn, you can buy at the Golf Course Lawn Store. So you can think of it as from a standpoint of, started out as I'm going to try and create a great lawn. Started documenting it, started getting a following. People started wanting to use the same products that I use. That led to the store, and then the live stream. As far as why this is a thing, is whenever COVID happened, right? Is whenever when people were indoors a lot or just didn't have anything else to do but work on their lawns or take on projects at home. And then I started the live stream in August of, I want to say 2020, maybe, I think it was 2020. The idea behind it is that as we got further into the season and I wasn't like out there producing content, it's like me out in the lawn working on stuff, I still wanted to be able to connect with the audience and answer questions and just help folks out and this kind of thing. So it just started out as a weekly thing of just seeing what questions people had or what they were working on, and just as a way for me to learn and also for them to learn as well too. And folks seemed to like it, and I just kept doing it. So here we are now. In August this year will be 4 years of doing this pretty much every week. I mean, there's a couple of weekends out of the year where I will either move it like to an earlier day in the week, but pretty much 4 years straight, consistently, this has been a thing. So I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as what else you want to know as far as origin story, but those are the high points. I mean, I can get into my professional career, but I don't think most of you guys really care about that. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. All right, next up is Andre Taylor. He says, "Hey Ron, happy Memorial Day. Send an email on my attempt of leveling. I may have to touch up some areas a few weeks after the lawn is recovered a bit." Very cool, Andre. I like it. I like it. No worries. That's kind of cool. So you said you didn't email something you're attempted leveling. I don't think I have anything from you that I see. There's no one named Andre in my email. Actually, no, I lie. Here we go. I got you. That's not bad. You said you sent an email of your attempted leveling may have to touch some areas. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I can't. Okay, yeah. So this is a picture here. This is one I can actually show. That is a better one because the other ones just kind of show grass. So this is an actual picture of how the lawn looks after you did the leveling work, and that is not going to work. Let me see if I can get this to. Yeah, that looks okay. Oh, so it's all one huge picture. Dude, I don't think that's gonna. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so this is what you're talking about, Andre. Overall, I think this doesn't look bad. So the thing I'm seeing there is you went lighter, which is good. I do like that. And you can see the heavy spots or the low spots in the lawn where the sand has settled into. So I think it looks good. I mean, overall, not bad. To your point, you may have to go through and do some touch up here and there, but overall that looks good. The nice thing about doing it the way you just did it is that the lawn's going to recover faster doing it that way versus like covering the entire thing heavily in sand. And it looks like you're working on a little bit of a slope, which is another reason to go lighter, because if you go super heavy, if you get any kind of rainfall or heavy rainfall, it's going to create a big mess. So you did it exactly right, man. There's nothing wrong with you, having to do multiple top dressings. That's par for the course. No issues at all with that. So thanks for sending the pictures. All right, so we got a super chat. This one is from Philip Cathy.
Super chat received.
He says, "What can I use from the big box store to control Virginia buttonweed and some St. Augustine and Bermuda grass?" On the Virginia buttonweed, I don't know. I don't really shop at any of the big box stores for lawn care products, so I don't know everything that they carry. The only thing that I can think of is Spectracide, and I don't know if that will control Virginia buttonweed. I know Celsius will do it. It's going to take a couple of applications, like that will knock it out, but you're not going to get that at the big box stores. So what I'm talking about is Celsius. You can get it in the 10 ounce, or you can get it in the well, it's not open. Or you can get an individual use packets. So a couple of apples to this stacked with surfactant will knock back Virginia buttonweed. As far as St. Augustine in Bermuda, look for, again, I don't know what they're carrying, but look for a actually no, Spectracide should do it, because you look for a product, or look for a herbicide with the active ingredient quinclorac. So I'll tell you what. Well, let's just do this. I'll send you links to products that I know will solve both those problems, and then you can just look at the active ingredients in them. And then when you want to go to the big box store, if you say you don't want to get it from the golf course lawn store, which is completely fine, that's up to you. But you can at least look at the active ingredients in said products, and then you can go compare the product labels on wherever you do want to go shop and see if like they have those, and that might be a way around this for you. So this is what I recommend if you're trying to go after the buttonweed fill up. So, and this is tolerated quite well by Bermuda. So that's thing one. That's for your buttonweed. And then for getting rid of the St. Augustine in Bermuda, what you're going to want is this quinclorac. This stuff is this is the bee's knees. This is devastating against St. Augustine, but Bermuda tolerates it very well. So those two products are what I would say to look at. Again, if you don't want to get those, then you can always go and see if you can find the active ingredient in some products in the big box stores and go from there. But those two will take care of that. All right. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
Super
Need
chat
anything else? Let
received.
me know. But yeah. But you know what? The more I think about it, Spectracide might, because the orange bottle Spectracide is safe for Bermuda grass as long as you're mindful about the temperatures you spray it. When it's 85 degrees or lower or cooler, it's Bermuda tolerates it pretty well. But you can't spray that on St. Augustine. So as far as like injuring St. Augustine and Bermuda, you might be able to use that for that. I don't know how well it works against Virginia buttonweed though. So hopefully that helps. Next up, we have. Let me see if I can find it. I already answered that question, Andre, about the fertilizer. And then Jacob Madrid is up next. He says, Happy Memorial Day, Ron Sharp Action Gang. Thanks you to all who serve our country. Yep. Thanks so much, Jacob. Appreciate that. And then K1. All right. Next up is, all right. You know what? Some people think, that's funny, but I do not. So 1 second here. Let me find you. All right. So you can be gone. All right. And yeah, I mean, you want to come in here and you write comments and stuff about, burning the flag and this kind of thing. You can do that, but it's not here. So you can go somewhere else. All right, next up is Crusaders film review. He says, Hey, Ron, happy Memorial Day from Douglasville. How do you keep leveling mix from washing out on a slope lawn? You go light. You go light, Crusaders film review. That's the trick to that. You don't want to go too heavy as far as just the amount of material that you put on the lawn. So if you look at any of the videos that of me top dressing my front lawn, which is sloped, you'll notice that I go pretty light because I've done, when I told you guys this stuff, because I've actually done it. I've done going heavy on a slope lawn, and it creates a huge mess. And it's hard to fix, because what you end up with is, if you go heavy on a slope lawn and you get heavy rainfall and it washes it all downhill, now you're not just moving like light top dressing mix. You're moving like this wet, soaked, compacted top dressing mix, sand that is, you have to wait for it to kind of dry out, and it's just a pain to move back to where it's supposed to be. So the best advice I can give you is to go light. Crusaders review, because going heavy it's just going to create problems for you. If you want an idea of what I talk about when I say go light, I'll send you a video here of when I top dressed my lawn with soil. And granted, you're going to be using like an actual leveling mix, but it gives you an idea of what you want to go for as far as like how heavy, what it should look like. That's gonna not have a lot of washout. And my lawn is pretty sloped. Like, people that have seen it have commented that it's a pretty fairly steep slope. So so hopefully this helps. So leveling a sloped lawn. Again, in this one, I'm just top dressing with carbonized PN, but it gives you an idea of how it can look, and then also gives you some tips what to do after you top dress it to help that material settle without again, reducing the chances of washout. Let me see here. One sec. All right. And then next up you have Carlos Bob. I like the name. He says, Carlos Bob, I have a 10 blade McLean 25 cutting at 7/16, so just under half an inch. I'm thinking about the Revolution 26. Do you think dropping to a 6 blade will make a difference in cut quality? I don't have a 10 blade McLean to be able to tell you. I will tell you this, Carlos. I have an 11 blade Greensmaster 1600, and I have the Revolution, and the Revolution does a great job. Like it's a I would not allow the fact, or I wouldn't let the fact that it has 6 blades dissuade you from getting the mower. It cuts really well. If you want to see a video that shows a comparison between the two, I did one. It's like a short. Oh, let's see, not that short. It's a video that just shows me just cutting with the Revolution and then cutting with the Greensmaster on the back lawn, and then you can take a look and see your thoughts. Here we go. Revolution versus 1600. So this video right here is the one that I'd point you to. Carlos, Bob, and there we go. Yeah. So, but as far as cut quality, I think so. Is it going to cut as well as a 10 blade at 7/16? I don't know. I'm cutting at 3/4. I'm cutting between like 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, right? So I don't know if you were to lower the height, what you'd see. Here's the thing I'd imagine. As you go lower, the increased blade count is going to be an advantage. At 3/4 of an inch, or between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, which is where I am, there's not a lot in it. There's not a huge night and day difference. So I sent you a video you can take a look at. You can kind of form your own opinion, and if you need anything else, let me know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the two of them. All right, next is Lando de Commando. He says, I started mowing lawns in my neighborhood. One of my neighbor's yards is completely covered in weeds. I could barely see the grass. I know Bermuda is resilient. Is there any saving it? Yep, yeah, there is, sure. Once you get rid of the weeds, once you knock them back, so you get what I would say, if it's a Bermuda lawn and you're trying to save the Bermuda, get like Celsius and do a broadcast spray of that with surfactant. If you got sedges, add some certainty in there. That will do a pretty good job cleaning up the weeds in the lawn, and then that's going to give the Bermuda the advantage to be able to spread and become the dominant grass in the lawn. So to answer your question, yes, it can. There is still saving. There's still hope for the lawn. The Bermuda can still take over, but you're going to want to get rid of the weeds to accelerate that process. So what I would say is spray the weeds, give it a few days after spraying, mow, and then just start mowing like normal, like how you normally would. And what's gonna happen is you've injured all of them with the herbicides. When you cut off all the leaf after you're done, by mowing it a couple days later, it's gonna be much more difficult for the weeds to reestablish, and then that gives Bermuda the advantage to be able to spread and do well throughout the lawn. Ant Live, he says, hey Ron, at the end of April, I think I've already answered this. Yeah, so a month later, if you did 1608 in the end of April or end of April, early May, if you want to do another fertilizer app here in a week or so, you're going to be just fine. It's been about 4 weeks, so that would be okay. Next up is Andy Whiteley. Says, good morning, everyone. Getting some nice rain this morning in Catala, Georgia. Yep. So no, that's awesome, Andy. Nothing wrong with the free rain, right? Free water. Can't beat it. Tom V is up next. Is, hey Ron, curious if there's been less than 1/4 of an inch of rain over the past 10 days and the forecast is dry for the next 7 days. Do you put down the next round of fertilizer, hard to water, 15,000 square feet? I do, Tom. I mean, I've got 12,000 square feet. So yes, you got a bit more than me, but I mean, yeah, because you don't have to run a full irrigation cycle, Tom. I mean, you can, you don't have to run a full cycle to water the fertilizer in. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I would still put the fertilizer out, because the thing is too, like if you're not going to get rain for 10 days, you're probably going to want to put some water on the lawn anyway. So I wouldn't let the fact that you're putting fertilizer out be like, well, I don't want to have to, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have 10 days of not water, there's 10 days with no rain in the forecast, you're likely going to want to run irrigation at some point during that 10-day period, and just time it, put your fertilizer out the day before you plan to run your irrigation for your normal watering. That is how I would go about it. And you said, I run into that scenario in the summer quite frequently. Yeah, I would still water your lawn. I mean, because you're likely still going to do that. Just put your fertilizer out. In other words, I fertilize. I put my granular fertilizer out at the beginning of every month during the growing season. That's the thing. But I also run my irrigation. So that's So to answer your question, I would not stop fertilizing the lawn due to the fact that it's not raining. I would just run irrigation. Next up is Pro Ultra says, what's used on dog pee spots? There's not a ton you can do. You can water heavily to try and dilute it. You can use a rich compost like carbonized PN that will help the area to recover faster. But the best bet to deal with dog urine damage is to prevent it in the first place. And the way to do that is to try and do your best to train the dog to go in one area. So instead of it just going all over the lawn and peeing all over the place, like have like one area that's designated as your sacrificial, the sacrificial scorched earth part of the lawn that you're kind of giving up, and just have the dog go there. And that's going to be your best bet. You're always going to be chasing, you're going to always be chasing your tail, pun unintended. If you're trying to treat it after the fact. So the best thing is to try and just tell the dog to go, train it to go in one area. We got more green says, hello from Germany. Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you coming to say hello from Germany. Glad you are taking some time to hang out in the live stream. Andy Whiteley says, do you normally do a Memorial Day live chat? I know Memorial Day normally signifies the beginning of the heavy growth season. I did one today. Not when I say normally, I guess last year, last year I did a live stream as well. I was outside, and that was when I did a live stream outside doing turf raking, verticutting, and mowing. So I did all the things. Everyone wanted to see, hey, you say this machine could do all this cool stuff. Can you just do a live stream, putting it through its paces and showing us what you do as far as from a cultivation practices standpoint on the lawn? And I live streamed that last year. So this year, not going to happen because it's raining like crazy. And I've also already verticut the lawn. But I wouldn't say it's normally a thing, but this is a weekend where I'll have the day off from work, or it's a weekend where everyone is thinking about their lawns. So yeah, I tend to do a live stream on or about Memorial Day weekend, in addition to the normal live stream, which is on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. So every Friday night, barring a couple of weekends out of the year, the live stream is always on Friday nights at 7 p.m. But then some of you have these ad hoc ones that I'll do, depending on what's going on, my schedule, that kind of thing. So hope that helps, Andy. We got a super chat. This one is from Andy Whiteley, or what I keep saying. So Andy, I apologize. So there's a guy that I don't trade with him, but he's a martial artist that's in Florida, and his name is Doug Whiteley. So when I saw your name, I keep saying Whiteley, but it's Waitley or Watley. I apologize. I just keep saying that name because it's out of one letter. It's only one letter different spelling from a guy that I know that has a similar last name. So I apologize for that. All right, super chat from you.
Super chats received.
He says, thanks for all the great advice, Ron. Just sponsoring a quick lemonade break and a chance to smash the like button. As always, great to catch you live. I appreciate that, sir. Today, it's an Arnold Palmer. There's no lemonade in it. Well, there's not Chick-fil-A lemonade by itself. It's just, tea and lemonade. So I appreciate that. Thank you for all the love and support, sir. And again, apologies for mispronouncing your name. I wasn't doing it intentionally. My brain saw the spelling, and I was like, oh, it's Whiteley, but it's really not. Is it Waitley? I'm gonna guess Waitley. Watley, I'm not sure. All right. Next up we have Chris Styles says, okay, thanks, Ron. You're very welcome, Chris. And then Mars Blade says, hello, I'm in Middle Tennessee. I'm new to lawn care. I have tall fescue. What is the best for dandelions and clover? You could just use a three-way. You can use a three-way. You can use tenacity. Both of those will do that, Mars Beads. So tenacity will work well, and it doesn't really have any temperature restrictions. So when it gets hotter, you can use that. The negative to tenacity is that for the grass surrounding it, is that the grass will get not necessarily bleached, but it will lose some of its color for a week or two whenever whenever you're killing off the weeds. So that's, a lot of people don't like that. So that's one caveat to it. But if you're looking for for those two, dandelions and clover, just a three-way should work. And it's probably not in the mid 80s yet in Tennessee. So what I'll do is I'll give you both options. How about that? I'm gonna give you both options. All right. So either one of these will do what you're talking about. The first one, which I am linking now, does not really have. It's Watley. Okay. These two. This one here does not have the temperature restrictions. So no temp. Let me see. So at Mars beads. Okay, got you there. Nope. At Mars beads. So this one is if you can tolerate like the grass just in the surrounding area getting a little bit lighter for a week or two after you spray this, then this is the one to go with, because it works over a broad temperature range. And then if you want one that if you spray it too heavily, or if you spray it when it's too hot, the grass will just get slightly yellow. So both of these, you're going to get some light discoloration. But this one is another option, and price wise, they're similar. So it's really your call. I'd say that tenacity is probably more versatile, because if you ever decide you want to do like overseeding in the fall and you want to be able to use like a mild pre-emergent as part of your seeding project, tenacity can also do that as well. Whereas this other herbicide I'm linking to you is strictly a post-emergent herbicide, and you have to be more careful with this one as far as temperatures, because it will damage your grass if it's too hot outside and you spray it. So either one of those will do, dandelions and clover. Hope that helps, and I appreciate you being in the live stream. I think you're new. I don't remember ever seeing your name before, so if you are new, welcome. East Atlanta 13 is in the house. East Atlanta, you're in East Pernt. He says, what's up? He says, what up, Ron? Happy Memorial Day to you, Mang. Just making sure. You sound like you're from his Bankhead, East Point area. He says, and I'm just messing with you. I'm just joking. Just giving you a hard time. He says, I'm just making sure doing it. Surfactant with Primo Max or not? No surfactant with Primo. So surfactant with your herbicides, post-emergent herbicides, sure, but with your liquid fertilizer and Primo Max, no surfactant. So with this, no surfactant. With this, no surfactant. With our other fertilizer, the 22-3, no surfactant. Keep surfactant for Celsius, for certainty, for herbicides. Pretty much. That's the only place, or the only time I ever use surfactant in my program. I don't use it with any fertilizers, but absolutely do not use surfactant with Primo Max. Don't do it. It's just no. It's a hard no to that. It's not a maybe, not a could be. It's a hard no. No surfactant with Primo. Just Primo by itself is all you need. He says, Julius Elliott says, with the new product, can you use the fertilizer kit? Yes, it's a good question, Julius. So I think you're talking about. You're talking about this. You're talking about a new? Yes. It can be. It mixes with. So here's the thing. And this, if you guys, I'll cut this clip out and I'll post it. A big part of why I'm so picky with the products I offer on the store, and also even when you look at like these guys, right? If you look at like our new replacement for Turfplex, so the 22-3 fertilizer, and then also the micronutrient. The reason why I take so long to test this stuff and why I don't have a huge selection of things is because whatever you see here, I want you to be able to use them together. So, for example, Primo will mix with Anew, will mix with the Carbon Kit, will mix with Release 901C, will mix with NutriCut, will mix with any of these. So pretty much any of these fertilizers. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make sense to use all of them, but you could, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, if you wanted to mix all of these, you could, and there's not going to be any kind of weird interactions. What I would say is this: if you're talking about using Anew and Primo, here's how I do it. Here's how I would go about doing it. I'll give you two options. So option one is to stack Primo and Anew along with the 901C Carbon Kit. So like say you have a 5,000 square foot lawn, you could use the 901C Carbon Kit along with Anew and Primo, or just Anew and the Carbon Kit, or just Primo and the Carbon Kit. It doesn't really matter. You can mix and match the way you want. But to answer your question, they all mix nicely together. So that would be option one. Another option would be whenever the 22-3 fertilizer is available, which will be in a couple of weeks from now, and you say, you know what, I want to use this as my fertilizer instead of release 901C. In that case, you would use the Golf Course Lawn 22-3 fertilizer instead of the 901C carbon kit. Get the release 0 one, because there's two versions of the carbon kit. There's one that has release 0, and there's one that has 901C. So 901C and release 0 are essentially the same product, with the exception that 901C has fertilizer in it, release 0 does not. So if you have a fertilizer that you like, or you're going to use a different fertilizer, or, if you want the ability to use a fertilizer other than what's in 901C, then the release 0 makes sense. So you could do the 22-3, the release 0 carbon kit, and then your growth regulator stack. So either primo, either a new, or primo and a new. So the long and short of it is that everything that you see here from a liquid standpoint on this page will mix nicely together and not have any kind of weird interactions. Part of why it takes me a while to release new products, because I actually test that stuff. Because the last thing I want is you guys to go buy things and you use them together, and then you have some kind of word separation. There's problems with it. So pretty much to answer your question, Julius, is anything that's on there, you can mix and match them as you see fit. I would not use all of them at the same time. But what I was telling you is that if you want a simpler approach or one less product, you could do the 901C carbon kit and your growth regulator. If you're saying, well, I want a fertilizer that has some micronutrient, like some iron in it as well, then in that case, then this makes sense, right? Because 901C does not have iron in it, whereas this does. So you could do depends on which way you want to go. There's tons of different ways of going about it. When these actually launch, when they're actually available for purchase, I will release a video that I prepared that will walk through all of this stuff. I'm not going to release it now because you guys can't get it just yet. So it doesn't make sense to be like, yeah, here's how you can use these all together, and then you want to go buy it and you can't buy it yet. So that is going to be coming, and I will walk through different combinations and give you the pros and cons from my perspective of each of those. So that's going to be here in the next couple of weeks. You're going to be able to see that, and hopefully that helps. But as far as if all you were asking about is a new, yes, you can mix that with any of the fertilizers that you see there on the Golf Course Lawn Store. All right, we have a super chat. This one is from our favorite LSU fan, Mr. Kenny Cadell.
Super chat received.
He says, Monaco renovation is going well, 4 weeks in now, and started cutting. Not too concerned about the weeds for now. I have some crabgrass, some clover, and some Dallas coming. Ooh, Dallas. Might want to get rid of that one. Dallas coming up. When can I start to blanket spray, and what product combination would I use? So I would wait until you're regularly mowing and it is filled in more, Kenny. If I am going to blanket spray here's the thing. If you want to knock out, let me see if the Dallas grass you're going to have to dig up. There's not really a herbicide that you're supposed to spray on residential lawns that will control Dallas grass. So I wouldn't use that. I'm checking the product label here for this and seeing if clover is on here. Yeah, I didn't think it was. All right. So long, short, Kenny, if you're looking for something that you can spray or combination you can spray over a broad temperature range that does a really good job cleaning up weeds in a warm season lawn like your Monaco, what I'm going to point you to is the Celsius Certainty herbicide kit. This is enough product to treat 130,000 square feet, so just over 3 acres. So you got plenty of product. As far as something you can use you could blanket spray on a warm season lawn that is, as long as you stick to the correct rates, is unlikely to discolor it, unlikely to cause any kind of damage to the lawn. This is what I would go with. If all you care, and that's going to take care of your clover and also young crabgrass. Young crabgrass Celsius will take care of. If you have more mature crabgrass, or all you primarily care about is crabgrass, then quinclorac is a better choice. So as far as a herbicide for crabgrass, quinclorac, in my opinion, is like the standard. Like it doesn't really get much better than that in a Bermuda lawn, right? So it depends on what you're after. So if you want like the best crabgrass control, quinclorac, and if you want also a combination that you can blanket spray and over a broad temperature range and less likely to cause injury, then Celsius and Certainty. quinclorac, you really want to be careful when it gets to be above 85 degrees as far as, or sustained temperatures over 85 degrees as far as some temporary yellowing that you might get. With Celsius uncertainty, you are far less likely to get that. Like if you look at the video that is, I think it's still in the product description. Yeah, if you look at the videos in the product description, this one here, it was in the 90s. It was in the mid 90s when I shot this video when I was spraying the lawn. And I did that intentionally because even though the products are labeled to not have temperature restrictions, if we get in the 90s, what starts to happen? So I purposely did that, and I didn't see any discoloration in my lawn when from using that combination, which also included surfactant, again a small amount, but also included surfactant when temperatures were a lot higher. So that's what I would say to go with. Dallas grass, you're just going to be digging it out. Unfortunately, there's just not a there's not a really good way to get rid of Dallas grass in a residential lawn these days with a herbicide anyway. So hope that helps. Here's where you can find all of those, both the Celsius Certainty kit, and also you can also get quinclorac. So if you're looking for a combination or looking for a set of herbicides to pretty much take care of, trying to think of all of your post-emergent needs in a Bermuda lawn, like between those three, you're going to be covered. Between quinclorac, Celsius, and Certainty, I'm trying to think if there's anything else you're really going to need. And I don't think anything comes to mind. That outside of Dallas grass, but you can't really, there's not really a post-emergent herbicide that you're supposed to use on residential lawns for that. So Celsius, Certainty, and quinclorac will cover all those bases, and you'll be good to go. So thanks for the super chat. Glad to hear your Monaco is doing well. I'm just gonna keep working on you, Kenny. I think if I just keep, I keep being nice and show you how us Georgia fans are really nice. One day you're gonna change that LSU avatar to, you can put a bulldog in there. With the hat, you're gonna have like Ugga. Eventually, I think you're gonna come around. I'm just gonna give it time. I'm just gonna slowly work on you, slowly. Hope that helps, sir. Again, if you need anything else, let me know. I appreciate the super chat, and I think you are the highest donation at this point, so I think that makes you now our show sponsor. So there you go, your name in lights for whatever that means to you. So again, I appreciate all the love and support. All right, next up, you says Ninick83 says, I just used my leveling rake for the first time. Congrats, awesome. He says, thanks, Ron. Are the products you use on average safe for pets? Most lawn care products that are labeled for use on residential lawns, Ninick, are safe for pets. As long as the general guidance is apply the products and water them in, and then keep the pets off the lawn or off the area until it dries. What most services will tell you is they will spray a lawn and they'll put a little sign in the yard saying keep people and pets off the lawn for 24 hours because that just pretty much guarantees it's going to be dry. So as long as you spray, allow it to dry, or you spray, water it in, and then allow it to dry, and you apply said products at the correct rates on the label, pets don't really have tend to have any problems with that. I've not run across anybody that's ever written and says, hey, my dog, Fluffy, got sick or anything along those lines. So the big thing is spray the products, allow the lawn to dry before you allow people or pets to re-enter the area. That's just general guidance for any lawn care products. If you are really concerned, you're like, I want to take a more organic approach, we have a couple of options for that. So for fertilizer, what you could do is you could go with the organic fertilizer offering from Miramichi. So this is our 444. This is a truly organic, arm-lucid organic fertilizer. So that would be an option. And then for insect control, you could go with the Miramichi pest control, which is this guy. Again, though, but I really would not allow, while those are great products and they'll work well, I would have no concern with spraying like any of these herbicides that we carry, again, as long as you allow the lawn to dry before you allow the pests to re-enter. So in other words, I've sprayed Alex's lawn several times when we've needed to clean up weeds in his lawn. The neighbor next to me, I've sprayed their lawn, and both of them have dogs, and they're absolutely fine. The big thing is whenever I spray it, even when I put out pre-emergent, I'll say, hey, Alex, I'm going to go spray pre-emergent, keep Stella inside until like tomorrow, or, or has she gone out for today to where she can't, she's not have to go out again. He's like, yeah, she doesn't have to go out again. Good, cool. So you spray the lawn, water it in, and then next day life goes on. So as long as you are just, use common sense and just follow the label, which is, allow the products to dry before you allow people or pests to re-enter. You're good to go. So hope that helps. Rob is up next. He says, I bought a new construction with Bermuda Tifway 419 laid on compacted clay soil. Recommendations to give this sod the best chance to thrive. Get a soil test, feed your lawn based on the said soil test results, and then just mow it. That's going to be your big thing. Bermuda, it doesn't take a lot to get Bermuda to look reasonably good. If you really want it to look, if you're trying to get looking at its absolute best, get a soil test done, feed the lawn based on those soil test results. And then, you can start layering on other things as you get more mature in your lawn care program. You can look into like top dressing. You can look in, lawn leveling and top dressing. Those things do enhance the appearance. They improve drainage. So there's the baby steps, I would say. The baby steps, Rob, and it sounds like you can bypass step one because you didn't say you had this problem. But step one would be to clean up the weeds in your lawn, which you don't seem to have because you didn't talk about that. So you could do a soil test, fertilize your lawn, and then mow your lawn regularly. And by regularly, I mean you have to commit to at least twice per week mowing if you want your lawn to really stand out among the other lawns on your street. If you do those things, it's a great lawn is a byproduct of those activities. So it's really not that difficult. It's really just a consistency thing. It's a consistency thing. Feeding it consistently, mowing it consistently, and then just always looking for ways to make it better because every lawn is a little bit different. You may have certain challenges in your lawn that I don't have in my lawn, and you'll have to just figure out what it takes to address those and make things better. And over time, you'll if you keep on this consistently, you'll put together a program that is tailored to your particular lawn that works well and helps produce a good result. So hope that helps, Rob. And again, congrats on the new house and congrats on the new lawn. If you want a calendar, actually, good point. As far as like what I do every month, we have the Golf Course Lawn Academy, which is our paid course and gets you access to some lawn care training as well as the private Facebook group with lots of great guys and gals in there that are seriously hardcore about their lawns. You think I'm serious? Some of these guys are next level. And then there's also our lawn care schedule, which is free. So if you go here and then you go to the monthly application calendar, this is a representation, like a scaled down version of what is in the academy. So month by month, it says, this month, the month of May, would be a great month for top dressing if you decided you want to do that. If you are, if you're looking to do a moisture manager, this is the one we recommend. We also recommend doing a preventative fungicide app. So pretty much you can follow this along with consistent mowing, because the one thing you notice starting, when do I start adding that in here? I think starting in April. The one thing you notice in every month is consistent mowing. And then May, consistent mowing. Yes, there's product applications, but you got to have your consistent mowing. And in July, let's not forget the consistent mowing. Even in August, got to consistently mow. So this will help you as far as product inputs, coupled with your consistent mowing, is going to produce a really good looking lawn. It's going to stand out. So again, as far as consistent mowing, what I mean by that is a couple times per week, twice per week is what you're going to have to commit to if you're really serious about getting, again, a lawn that just stands out compared to your neighbors, the ones on your street. All right. Let's see here. Jared says first time live while mowing. That's cool. That's cool. It's the first time for everything, right, Jared? So yeah, I'm glad that you got me in your ear while you're out there laying some stripes, which is cool. And then next up we have Diamond says, I'm due for a pre-emergent application and a fungicide application. Can I mix the two? Yep, sure can. You can mix them. You can apply your fungicide and pre-emergent at the same time. Yeah, no worries with that at all. Next up we have Jim Schmidt. He says, Ron, happy Memorial Day to you. If we get an outbreak of disease, generally speaking, can you apply headway granular and then a liquid fungicide? I would do one or the other. So headway is a combination fungicide. It's azoxystrobin and propiconazole. And if you did a liquid fungicide, like if you're thinking about like Pillar SC, which is triticonazole and pyraclastostrobin. So these two guys, so I don't have a bag of headway here, but this and headway, the fungicides that are in them are in the same family. I would not do, if you have a disease problem in your lawn, given the choice between a granular fungicide application or a liquid fungicide application, I would do liquid if you've got something that's going on, strictly for the reason that it's going to work faster. It's going to begin working faster than a granular product will. I would not do both though. I wouldn't want to get out there and do headway and then like a day later go out and spray pillar. I would do either or. And if you're looking to get results faster, go with the liquid. Main reason being is that it's already broken down. It's just gonna be absorbed faster. It's gonna work faster. You're not relying on a prill that has to dissolve and then release the fungicide into the soil, right? So for that reason, the liquid's going to be a bit faster than the granular, but not both. I would not do both. Not at the same time anyway. If you wanted to do, say, headway for your first application, and then 14 to 21 days later when you're doing your follow-up, rotate to a liquid, that would be okay. But I would not do them both on the same, within a day or two of each other. I think that's a bad idea. I wouldn't do it. You'd be overdoing it. And as far as where you can find both of those, Jim, in case you are so interested, I'll drop a link here in the chat for you. So you can find them all right there. All right, so I hope that helps, sir. And again, this is a big part of why I'm a fan of preventative fungicides, like preventing, like not having the disease problem in your lawn in the first place. So get the preventative fungicide out, and then the likelihood of you having to chase afterwards to try and correct problems is reduced. Not saying it can't happen, but much less likely of it happening. All right, Philip, I have already answered your question about Virginia buttonweed in Bermuda, so hopefully that helps. I gave you the active ingredients to go look for to see if you could find something. And then Rob's Blazer says, I live in San Antonio, Texas, and I just put down a low dose of Primo Max on my lawn for the first time. Congrats. You know what? We're going to clap that up. We're going to clap it up. When folks start using growth regulator, this is something to be applauded. It says, how often do you reapply it? Bermuda grass, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. That's what I do. That's what I do. I spray at the low rate every 2 weeks, Rob Blazers. So if you did like half rate for your grass type, which would be in 4 gallons of water, half an ounce of Primo, then you can just do that every couple of weeks. That's going to work well for you. And then next up, we have Rob Thomas. He says, hey, Ron, happy Monday. Looking forward to the granular hydrotan I purchased the other day from your store to arrive. I'm in Eastern Ohio. Sent you an email Friday with some yard progress pics. Cool. Did you? Did I show them off or did I not? Yeah, I don't have do I have a picture from you, Rob? Maybe. I think did I not show you? Oh man, that looks good. No, I didn't. I would remember these. That's clean. That looks really, especially from where you came. That looks really good, man. Yeah. Wow. It's a really good, man. I gotta save all these. This is a pretty good transformation. Bear with me one sec, guys. I'm gonna put together get a folder here for Rob, and we'll show off what he's show off the work that he's done as far as getting his lawn better. This is pretty cool. Have to admit, it's a nice transformation. So it looks like, let me see if I can get them in the correct order. It looks like this is where you started, and all right, so I'm gonna try and do them in order. So it looks like this is what he was dealing with before, which, let's just face it. I mean, I don't want to call a lawn ugly, but I mean that lawn has seen better days. It's there's some challenges there. I'm gonna say there's some challenges there. All right, and then next we've got some others. I mean the grass is not looking its best. Kind of dry, not great color, just not looking its best. And then I guess he's taking on a renovation. So this is the progress of trying to improve things. And I'm going through this in an order that I think makes sense chronologically, Rob. I didn't know, look at all the timestamps, but this looks like he's starting to take the steps to make things better, right? And then next we have this. So these two. So this is picture 1 of where it is now, which is pretty sweet. Color looks great. That's a big improvement, huge improvement. And then this is picture 2 of where it is now. And again, pretty awesome, man. Huge change. Huge difference in change. So it just shows, any of you guys that have lawns that are not looking great and you're saying, oh, my lawn's ugly and, it can never get better. You can take a lawn from that to that He didn't say. Let me see. I'm looking at the timestamps here. It looks like some of these pictures were from last year. Some got our 2023 timestamps, but it just shows that with a little bit of TLC and consistency, you can really turn a lawn around. So, thanks, Rob. Thanks for sending the pictures. Lawn looks great. Nice, nice work. Keep going. It's going to get even better. And I appreciate you sharing them with all the folks on the live stream. So, nice work. Really cool. All right. Next up is Jim Schmidt. I think I already answered this, Jim. He says, what are your thoughts on headway and a liquid fungicide? I would not do them both. I wouldn't do them both at the same time, one or the other. Greg Lyon is up next. He says, happy Memorial Day. I sent you 2 pics a while ago. Do you think I have a mix of common Bermuda and patches in this green grass? I am not sure, Greg. Where are... I don't know if I have the pictures from you. It's hard. I can't see them. These pictures are not... It's hard to say. Hard to say, man, because the pictures are really up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could be common. Yeah. So let me share with the folks what I'm looking at here. And this one. Let me see if it comes across. Yeah, Greg. So what looks like to me could be a couple of things. So you can see the upper part of the picture because you send the pictures in portrait. You can see where the grass is thicker there, and then here the leaf looks thicker and the runners look thicker. It very well could be some common. That does look like I'm looking at the stolons, like the runners, and they do look a lot thicker than what I would see in a hybrid lawn. So yeah, look at the pictures, just again, they're not great ones, but that is finer, the top part of it, compared to what's going on down here. Yeah, I mean, that looks like 2 different types of grass. Like I have a couple of patches of common in my lawn, and prior to using a new, that's what some of those areas would look like. What you tend to find with common is it can get thick, but it doesn't get like as thick and as dense as like hybrid does, because the leaf is a lot bigger or a lot thicker, and the runners are it's a thicker grass, or it's a thicker grass overall. So just as far as how it thickens up, it looks good, but it doesn't look as good or as tight as hybrid. And what you're showing in that picture looks like some areas that I've seen in my lawn. So I don't have anything that's quite that big, but yeah, what you likely have there is some common going on. So sorry you're dealing with that. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon to have some common in a hybrid lawn, especially as time goes by. Like if it's it's a brand new lawn, maybe not so much, but over time, it's not uncommon for some common Bermuda to get in there, either due to just it getting into the lawn or due to some mutation that causes common to start showing up again. And again, the best as far as masking it. Look into a new easy. A new easy and primo is a good combination for making it to where it just you don't see it as much. So something to keep in mind and consider for hiding it. So hope that helps. All right, next up is Lucy Thornbow. I know Lucy. She says, we have electric for our small lawn, but it's mains powered. Okay, so you have an electric mower, but it is plugged in. So it's plugged into the wall. That seemed kind of scary. How do you make sure you're careful to not run over the cord? I guess you kind of like, you drape it over your shoulder while you're mowing and just be really careful. I'd be afraid of that. But I mean, that would be a way. I mean, you think about it, like if there's a convenient way of doing that, that gets you away from the batteries and charging, because that's the one thing with electric that I don't think a lot of people keep taking into consideration, especially when you get into like the bigger units. Like it's not a small amount of money. Like if you look at, like, take for example the batteries that are for the C27 take, they are like $500 each depending on the amp hours you get. So like $500 each, and the mower takes 3 of them, so it's like $1,500. And then if you want to be able to swap them out, so you can always keep mowing. So say I'm gonna go out on a day and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna verticut and turf rake and then go mow afterwards, and I want to do all that with the outlet. I'm not gonna be able to do that on one set of batteries. So if you want to have one set of batteries charging while you're running another one, you gotta have 2 sets. So you're talking about like $3,000 in batteries. So that's a lot of gasoline. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of how much gas you'd have to buy to get to $3 grand in a gas powered mower. But it's not really apples and oranges. Again, it does a lot more than just cutting, but it's just something to consider because batteries are not a small amount of the cost of running an electric mower, unless you're like Lucy and you're on mains power. So cool. Thanks for chiming in, Lucy. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a relaxing day off on Monday. So cool. Very, very cool. All right. Next up, we have a question or a super chat. This one is from Rob. We could do that.
Super chat received.
He says, thank you. Yes, no weeds. The sod was neglected for 2+ months prior to the move-in, so it was looking a little bit sad. I've started with growth regulator and drop humic acid and granular. Thanks again. Yeah, and here's the thing, Rob. That's not uncommon. For a lawn that's brand new, where it's like the builders put the sod in as a part of their schedule, and when you close on it, it gets turned over to you, so you can start taking care of it. It is not uncommon for the lawn to not be looking its best when it gets handed over to you. Having said that, now that you're paying attention to it, you're putting your love into it. Every day you wake up in the morning, you get out there and you look at it. It's going to get better over time. It's going to get better really quickly because you're putting time and energy and focus into it, so it can't help but get better. So I really wouldn't be too worried. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to get better over time. By the end of this season, you're going to be shocked at how much vastly better the lawn is going to be. So just keep going. The biggest thing is consistency. That's the thing that holds most people back from great lawns, is they're not consistent with it. All right. No Name says, happy Memorial Day. I didn't get Primo down yesterday, and of course it rains. We're not going to hold it against you. No Name. It's okay. Because I love the rain and all, but here comes the growth. I'm applying it as soon as it dries up. Yeah, you're going to want to, because you're right. The one thing with Bermuda is it looks really nice after rainfall. Most grass does, but if you're on the bubble as far as when you need to get your Primo out and you're late, you definitely want to stop that, because it will take off after a nice heavy rain, especially with all the heat we're getting. Let's see here. Ninick says 83 says, oh, grandma's house has zoysia grass. It's crazy expensive. What's a visually comparable grass? There isn't really. That's why zoysia is so expensive. Okay, let me think about this. No, there's not really one zoysia looks like zoysia. It has a very distinct look to it. Tahoma 31 looks nice, like that Bermuda looks nice, but it doesn't look as good as like a Xeon or an Empire zoysia. It just, like, the reason why zoysia costs what it costs is because because of the appearance and then the slow growth of it, and it's just a lot of people like the way it feels. There's that too. But no, there's not. If you want the look of zoysia, then you need to get zoysia. Tahoma 31 is not bad. Tiff Tough is also a nice Bermuda grass as well too, but it doesn't look like how zoysia looks. So if you really like zoysia, that's what I would go with. And you're all right. It is expensive. It's expensive. The sod is more expensive, but the grass seed is crazy expensive. So I would say, if your lawn is not big, sod would be the way to go if you're trying to establish a new zoysia lawn versus grass seed. Next up is Devin. Devin's in the house. This is Demir91. He says, what's up, Ron? This is sweet. Off today from the course, so drinking coffee in the backyard, and I see you're live. Happy Memorial Day. Thanks so much, Devin. Man, the pictures. Now, are you still here? Because he sent me some pictures of his lawn. He didn't say I could share them, so I'm not going to share them, but I can just tell you his Kentucky Bluegrass renovation is looking fire. I'm just going to do like a little flash. Look good. How about that? So that's picture one, and then picture two. It looks really good. So yeah, he's I can imagine you're on the back porch, having coffee and looking at that lawn, and I can tell you, looking at it here, it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It looks really nice, which it should. You're a pro, right? So you know what you're doing when it comes to your grass. But it looks really good. Next up is Brian Hall. He says, you gave your thoughts on the backyard results. I purchased 2 test results. Do you have any thoughts on the front yard test results? Oh, so there's 2 of them. I'll look really quick here, Brian. I may not bring it up in the live stream, but I'll take a look and just tell you really quick, just so you can look, in case you'd like to say, I'm going to buy this stuff to fix it. I will tell you what my thoughts are. So that was the backyard. The front, nope. They look this backyard. I only have, it's like 2 of the same is what I'm seeing here. Yeah, they look like 2 of the same to me, unless I'm crazy. They look look similar. They're both labeled backyard. So you may think you have sent me a backyard and a front yard, but I think what I have here is 2 backyard. And yeah, the file size is the same, and I can check really quick. Yeah, they're the same file. Like I just hashed them in the exact same file. So yeah, so if you have a front yard one, send me that one, because I have 2 of the same results from what I'm looking at here in the pictures or in your email. Okay, next up is Marty McFly. Says, thanks, you're very welcome, Marty. And then next up, he says, he says, yo, Ron, I started following you a few months ago. I haven't bought any of the products you sell, but I took all the advice from my products. My Alon is looking great and taking good. I like that, man. So the process works, right? So good. If you have a set of products that you like and you're already committed to, I get it. The process is really the thing. So I'm glad that you're getting good results, Rob. So just keep going. It's going to get even better over time. And then next up is Todd Gleaves. He says, Ron, do you know if acelepryn is safe for fireflies, lightning bugs? I want to treat for grubs and armyworms, but since we've moved out of the city per se, continued, we now see fireflies in the summer, and I don't want to kill them off if possible. Tried messaging Syngenta, but never got a reply. I don't know. I don't know, Todd. I will reach out to my contacts. I've got a contact at Syngenta that I can call tomorrow and ask him. Because I think you're in the group, you're in the academy, right? So just so I don't forget, I'll call them, but just tag me in a post, like in the private Facebook group. Just say, hey, Ron, you're looking into this thing about fireflies and lightning bugs, and I'll reply there. I'll let you know what I find out. But they're not going to answer today because it's Memorial Day today. But I'll reach out to them tomorrow and find out. I don't know though. I know that as far as insecticides go, the active ingredient in acelepryn, like chlorantraniliprole, is a lot gentler as far as not harming earthworms or pollinators. I don't know about fireflies and lightning bugs though. Don't know. But I'll try and get an answer for you. And his answer might be he doesn't know, or it's not. They haven't tested it or whatever. I don't know. But you'll know what I know here once I hear from him, more than likely sometime tomorrow. So I'll reach out to him. We'll go from there. All right. Next up is No Name says, I still care about your professional career. It's boring, man. It's boring. All right. When we get towards the end of the live stream, No Name, if you remind me, I'll talk about my professional career more. All right. Next up is some more super chats. Let's get those really quick. We got Phantom Works. Thank you so much.
Super chat received.
And then another one. Here.
Super chat received.
He says, happy Memorial Day, Ron. You mentioned last stream it's better to burn the lawn down so it's uniform after the reno. Will literally burning it kill the current grass? I prefer not to use chemicals. No. If you set your Bermuda lawn on fire, which is a thing here in Georgia, people will do that in the springtime if they don't want to scalp. They'll actually burn the lawn, and it'll be like scorched earth. It'll be all brown, but it's not dead. It will not kill it. So if it's Bermuda, it won't kill it. If you're talking about some other grass types, I don't know if they're going to be as resilient as Bermuda is, but burning Bermuda is not going to kill it. It's not going to get rid of it permanently. And as far as, chemicals, I mean, yeah, if you want to do a renovation using, glyphosate is really, it's an easy way to go as far as, an inexpensive way to go as far as getting rid of your existing grass. But actual fire is not, what I would recommend. I would use something like glyphosate to get rid of it. Also, because just for safety reasons, so you got to be careful. Like if you live in a subdivision, you don't want to, set fire and then it get out of control and spread to your neighbor's lawn and cause, you'd be that guy in the neighborhood. Fire trucks, police show up and everything because you were trying to do a renovation and it got out of hand. So I would personally look at something like a glyphosate product. Like if you're trying to get rid of Bermuda, glyphosate by itself does okay, but a better option is to take glyphosate and mix it with Fusilade 2. So Fusilade 2 and glyphosate is a really good combination for burning down Bermuda grass. Like that's as close to a one and done on Bermuda that I've ever come across. Because glyphosate by itself does a pretty good job, but it's not. You may have to do a follow-up app. But if you put some Fusilade in there, that does a good job getting rid of it. So. At least to the point where you could do a renovation. I mean, you never truly get rid of Bermuda grass, but as far as, preparing for a renovation. It's a good way to go. All right, next up is Jesse Lavin says, Ron, how do you mix Celsius and Certainty together for a zoysia lawn? Depends on what you're looking to control, but the same mix rates that I would use on Bermuda are the same ones that I would use on zoysia, Jesse. So if you're interested, if you go to the golf course lawn store, if you go to shop and you go to weed killer and you go to Celsius and Certainty, you will find in here a carefully prepared video under product detail that talks about how to mix it. So if you go here, this will you can use this guidance for Bermuda or zoysia or St. Augustine. It's going to be, there's not really a difference is what I'm trying to get to. So I'll link this for you here in the chat. Go through, read this, follow that, and you'll get a pretty good result with it. So there's not like a special rate for zoysia versus versus Bermuda, if that's what you're asking. Neil White says, happy Memorial Day, Ron, from stormy Atlanta, Georgia, right? Crazy rain today, right? Although it's looking better outside now. I'm seeing sunlight. I'm peeking through the window here. I can actually see sunlight outside there. So it's looking a lot better. And then next up we have Long 35 Forever. It says, what kind of grass or weed has purple tips in it? I'm trying to figure it out. I can email you a pic. It could be Dallas grass. Could potentially be Dallas grass. You can send me a picture if you want, Long Eva. My email address is ron@golfcourselawn.com. You can send a picture of it there and I'll take a look and I'll let you know what I think. But there's a lot of different grasses that have like reddish or purple in them. But, Dallas grass is also one that kind of comes to mind for me. But when you send me a picture, I'll be able to tell you for sure. Ryan says, happy Memorial Day. Thanks for that, Ryan. Then Gary Freeman says, happy Memorial Day, Ron, Sharp Action Gang. And then RV8 says, Ron, hey, I applied sulfur to lower my pH, my 7.1 pH on April 1st. Can I continue applying it now that Bermuda is growing? Thanks and have a safe Memorial Day. Yes, you can. You can continue to apply it. Yep, no problems with doing that. RV18. And then next we have Stick. He says, hey, Ron, my new construction home only has 40 feet of Bermuda sod. You know what? I'm going to go on. This is an annoying thing that builders do. And I get it, but I don't get it. Like, if any builders are watching this, stop this nonsense where you guys only do sod like 40 feet away from the house when it's like a big lawn, because it creates nightmares for people whenever they have to go put sod in afterwards and they go and get the same sod and then you have like two different types of grass in there. So if you're a builder and you do this, you suck. Like, just charge more for the house. Charge a couple $1,000s more and make the grass all one even thing. Because it's a terrible thing to only put you literally sod a backyard. Because like when we were building this place, right? The backyard, they're saying, yeah, we'll do, maybe, it might not have been 30, might have been 40 feet, but whatever. Let's just say it's 40. They said, we'll sod 40 feet. If you want more, we can do that, but it's extra. Like, so look at my back lawn, and I'm gonna get your question here, Nick, but I'm just kind of going off on a tangent because it's like an irritating thing, and I don't know why they do it. It's just just charge more for the house. I don't get it. So imagine like my back lawn, and you go from the house and you measure 40 feet out, and the grass stops there, and the rest of it's bare. That looks all kinds of dumb. I don't get why you just don't like roll the cost of the grass into the price of the house. Because I can't see anyone that is going to say, oh yeah, just go ahead and just do 40 feet of grass and the rest of it can be bare because I'm just going to have a weed patch back there. This is how I like my lawn to look. That's what I'm going to do. So builders that do this, I don't understand it. Like, just charge more for the grass. I mean, I guess what they do is they charge you they give you the 40 feet for free or rolled into the price of the house, and then they upsell or put a premium on the rest of the grass. But at either rate, just whenever you get a lawn or get a house, like, it should come with grass. It should come with like the entire thing sodded, or at least like a big chunk of it sodded. But whatever. Okay, it's your question. I'm done. I'm done ranting now. He says, what do you recommend to help the sod grow in faster and cover the remaining 40 feet of dirt behind the sod? Okay, so if you want it to match, Stick, what you're gonna 40 feet of bare dirt is a lot to fill in. That's a lot. I mean, even if I told you to transfer plugs into that 40 feet, that's a lot of plugs. That's a lot of they should have just sodded it. Is what I'm trying to get to. Here's the thing. You said if it's you said it's new construction. So if they haven't, here's the thing you can do. If they haven't, if you haven't if you haven't closed on the house yet, you can see what it would cost them to do that. Or if they are if it's new construction and they're still building in their area, if you can find out from the landscaper, whoever they use, because not like that typically gets subcontracted out just to a service or a different company to come put the sod in. If you can find out who that is and find out if you can find out who that person is or what that company is and get the sod from them, especially if it's in the same season, like you have a pretty good chance then of whatever they put in, it matching what's already there. Because it's like they're probably getting it from the same place during the same growing season, and you'll be fine. 40 feet of bare dirt to fill in, man. I mean, you could do it with plugs, but it's going to take a long time. I'm talking like a year, like a season, like in like best case scenario, you're talking about an entire season for 40 feet of grass to fill in. If you take plugs from your existing lawn and transfer them into this 40 foot of bare dirt, and what's going to happen now is you're going to have your current lawn with like a bunch of dirt spots in it because you pull plugs out of it. So it's just kind of a headache. So if you've got the budget for it and you can find the contractor that put the sod in, I would reach out to them and say, hey, what's it going to cost me for you guys to come out here and put sod over this remaining 40 feet? And I'm really picky. I want it to be the exact, the same sod that you guys used here. Like if it's within the same season, I would probably take that gamble versus, that I would do that. But again, if you're a builder and you do this, I know you guys are just you have like a price for that you have on the house or whatever, but if you should just charge more and fully give people a full lawn full of grass, because it's silly to do that. Anyway, I'm done. Next up is Kenny. He says, happy Memorial Day, everyone. Everyone, thanks so much, Kenny. I appreciate it. And then Steve is up next. He says, hey, Ron, how soon can you put down granular fertilizer on your lawn after Primo Max PGR? Once it dries, you could do it. If it were me, though, Steve, I would do them in reverse. So if you're going to be spraying granular, or you're going to be applying a granular fertilizer and doing liquids on your lawn in the same day to include a growth regulator like Primo, you would do the granular products first and then the liquids afterwards. So you could do the granular and then liquids. If you've already done Primo and you're saying, well, I want to put out a granular fertilizer, once the lawn dries, you could go out there and do it. So 4 to 6 hours later, you could go out and spread your granular fertilizer if you want. But if you've not done either as yet on the same day, I would do the granular first and then Primo afterwards. That is how I would go about it. So hope that helps. And yeah, Brian, I just got your soil test results. I'm looking at it. Yeah, so the same fertilizer. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's like the nutrient levels are slightly different. The curve looks very similar. I would use the same fertilizer. The 14-7-14 that I linked to you earlier for the front yard, same thing. I would use that on both the front and back. So I got your picture, Brian, or your soil test results, and same fertilizer. 14-7-14 is what I would go with. All right, Glycan says, happy M Day, Ron. Thanks so much. Or happy, yeah, it's a good day to remember those that pay the ultimate price so that we can have live streams about grass and talk about our lawns and barbecue or whatever else you happen to do on Memorial Day. He says, also, can you give us your watering schedule, times, duration during the summer? Sure. So last year I did Tuesday, Thursday. This year I've got it set to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. However, I literally change that every week. So I think I showed this on the live stream Friday night. Like this week, for last week, the only day I ran irrigation was on Wednesday. This week it will, I don't know. We had pretty heavy rain today, so I might not run irrigation on Wednesday. So I might just do Wednesday, Friday. So I'm not sure if I can actually show this. It's not going to show up. It's not going to show up well on camera, but I have the 3 days that I have for watering are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For the front lawn, it's not gonna show my camera, so I can just talk about it. On the front lawn, it is a 10-minute cycle, and then the 3 zones in the back are 20 minutes. Is that correct? I think make sure I'm not lying to you here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're 20 minutes for each one of the zones in the backyard, and then the swale area between Alex and me is 8 minutes. And then, so let's say you have a week where there's no rain, and there's no rain at the week towards the end of the week we're going out of, and there's no rain expected in the week that we're going into. So this year I'm playing with Monday, Wednesday, Friday instead of Tuesday, Thursday, and it would run on those durations. So 8 minutes on the front because it's 10 minutes on the front because it's a slope, 20 minutes for each of the 3 zones in the back, and then 8 minutes for the zone between Alex and myself. However, I've said this, and this is really useless information, and here's why. Because unless you know what your water pressure is and like how much, like what kind of irrigation head you have and how it's set up and how much water it's putting out, like what I'm giving you are general guidelines for what I'm doing, but it doesn't transfer over what you should be doing on your lawn. The best way is to say you really want about an inch of water per week from all sources. So if you are getting rainfall and you get like a quarter of an inch of rainfall, then you only got to you can run a shorter irrigation cycle, or you can omit one day to get up to that 1 inch to an inch and a half per week. So to give you an example, so I hope that helps, RV18. I do it. I have it set up for 3 days a week, but I don't run it all 3 days, depending on when the rain happens. If I get rain, I'm like, okay, I'm not watering tomorrow, so I just turn it off for that day, and then next week I'll look at the forecast and I'll adjust accordingly. So it's something that I constantly play with, depending on the amount of rainfall that we're getting. But the long short of it is, you want about an inch to an inch and a half of water per week on your lawn, and that is from all sources, so rainfall and irrigation. And watering times don't transfer well, because again, like the water pressure that we have here is pretty high. It's like just over 70 psi, which is pretty high for water pressure from what I understand. And then my irrigation heads are set up differently than yours are, so the amount of water they're putting out is going to be different. So the run times don't really translate well, as far as, Ron's watering for 20 minutes in the back, so I should water for 20 minutes in the back. Not necessarily so. So hope that helps. All right, next up we got John Smith. He says, "Hey Ron, I had no idea you were raised in the Caribbean, Twin City, STX. I too was born and raised in St. Thomas. I've been to St. Thomas. Yeah, man. St. Thomas is I was born in St. Croix, Christensen. Was born and raised in St. Thomas. How often do you go back and visit family and the Caribbean cuisine?" So I don't go back very often. Like my family tends to come up here and visit more often than go back. Again, my parents are really the only ones that are still there, and they come up here a couple times a year. So I don't really go back home that often. As far as food, some of it gets made here at home. Like, as far as my cook up rice, like pilau, that gets made here. And then if I want roti or like some oxtail or curry goat, I'll go find. There's a couple of decent Caribbean places or island cuisine places around Atlanta where you can get decent food. So it's not bad. I mean, I've taken my mom there before. She's like, yeah, this Callaloo isn't bad. So she even passes the test of like a Trinidadian who cooks the kind of food from scratch herself, right? So yeah, I don't go back very often, but I was born in St. Croix, so not far from St. Thomas. It's crazy how St. Thomas is, how like the terrain of those two are so different. St. Croix is not, I would say largely flat, but St. Thomas is so hilly and mountainous, and completely different vibe in St. Thomas compared to us Cruisians, But yeah, small world. All right, next up is Abraham Sato. He says, Good morning, Ron. I scalped at 3/4 of an inch and maintaining at 1 inch, but the grass doesn't look full, and I have some brown. Do I need a height of cut reset at 1/2 an inch Bermuda grass? So let me get this straight. So you scalped at 3/4 of an inch, maintaining at 1 inch, doesn't look full, and I have some brown. Okay, so what that says to me, Abraham, is that you're not mowing enough. Without knowing anything else, assuming there's no disease problems, nothing else going on, it sounds like your mowing frequency is not enough. Because if you went to 3/4 of an inch and you're maintaining at 1 inch, try picking up your mowing frequency. You can do a reset if you want to 1/2 an inch. That's going to really make it look brown. But the big thing I would say is, if your lawn is not staying green between mowings, your options are 2 things. 1, mow more, which is the one I personally like, or 2, raise the height of cut. Yeah, that's what you get. You get those 2. Those are going to be your two options. Those are going to be your 2 options. So I would say if you want to do a height of cut reset, that's fine. Before you go that route, though, try just adding an additional day of mowing. Try picking up your mowing frequency, because what you don't want to go through and do is do a height of cut reset and then you keep the same mowing frequency, and you end up right back here again. So now you made the lawn. You got some small areas now where it's brown. You're gonna make the entire thing look brown if you scalp it, and if you don't increase your mowing frequency, you're gonna end up right where you are all over again. So I would start with adding an additional day first if it were me. All right. Next up, we have Carrie McDaniel. He says, hey, Ron, my front yard is Bermuda and of super concentrations. I mean, it's super thick. My backyard is Meyer zoysia and where I fight dog pee spots. Any thoughts on the best way to handle it? I follow the dog with a water hose. Yeah, so unfortunately, you got the dog destroying the wrong lawn, right? If I could have a choice, I'd want the dog on the Bermuda and have the zoysia being untouched, because zoysia just grows so much slower that it's going to take it longer to recover from that injury. The best bet I can tell you, man, is to do what Alex did, which is to train his dog to pee in one spot, like have like one designated area that you just say, you know what, I'm going to give up on this one spot. It's going to be destroyed. It's always going to look bad. And that would be the way to go. But outside of following it around with a hose and watering heavily wherever it urinates, there's just not really, I don't really have a good answer for you, unfortunately, on that one. So I can tell you some things to do after the fact to help it recover a bit faster, but you're always going to be curing, it's still going to be an after the fact thing. So the best thing, train your dog to go in one area if you can. And dogs are smart. You can do that. If you can get it to go in one area, then it's less of a problem for you to have to deal with. So hopefully that helps. Next up, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did. I think we're good. All right. Next up, we have, let me look here really quick. No, okay. Next up, we have Larry Clark. He says, hey, Ron, this year my lawn got a lot of strain weeds. Is it what it is? What is? What do you recommend? That's a tough question to answer, Larry. So here's the thing. So when it comes to controlling weeds, you got to figure out what kind of weeds you have, what kind of grass you have, and then based on that, you can determine what herbicide is going to be the best fit for controlling the weed in your lawn. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, what's the infiltrator? What's invading my lawn? That's thing one. And then what kind of grass do I have? So and the reason why you need to know what kind of grass you have, because that narrows down the list of products that are safe to use on your lawn that will, injure and or kill the weed you're targeting, but will be tolerated by your desirable, right? By your grass. So it's hard to say for sure. I don't know strange weeds, I'm not sure exactly what you're dealing with. If you've got a Bermuda lawn, right? So a warm season turf grass, Bermuda or zoysia, Celsius controls a lot of weeds. So as far as doing a large scale cleanup of a lawn that's infested with weeds, like a good broadleaf herbicide like Celsius is a good choice. But again, I'm answering this assuming that you have a warm season lawn. You can't spray Celsius on like on a fescue or ryegrass or Kentucky bluegrass lawn. It'll injure or kill it. So thing one, got to know what kind of weeds you're dealing with approximately. And then the second thing is what kind of grass do you have? So yeah. And if your lawn is like a salad bowl, the more important one is what kind of grass do you have? Because really, you're likely going to end up blanket spraying the whole lawn anyway. So all you want to make sure is you're spraying something that's not going to kill your existing grass, because you're trying to just control, take care of a bunch of different things. So once I get that info, I can help you out. But hopefully that makes sense as why I can't really give you a recommendation, because I don't know, one, what the weed is, and then more importantly, what the grass is. So hope that helps. Hill Green is up next. He says, hey, Ron, no Mr. Nice Guy today for you. This is the first live stream that I witnessed. You blocked someone for making a non-acceptable comment. Respect the chat. No, I'm not. I mean, here's the thing, man. I get it. Here's the thing. I am not everyone's vintage, and I am not. Not everyone likes me. Not everyone likes. Likes America, likes this country, and that's completely fine. But you're not going to do it here. If you want to be a jerk. If you don't want to like me, that's fine. You don't have to like me. There's a lot of people that don't like me, and frankly, I don't really care. And there's a lot of people that don't like the US of A, and that's fine. If you don't like it, that's fine. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to come in my platform and talk trash about me or about the country. It's not going to happen. So if that's you, you get to join a very elite and exotic list of people that are banned from the channel and don't get to come back ever. So that I'm just I don't play with that. So all right, next up is Ryan. Is Glycan's Rule. He says, I'm about to get my True Cut from the shop. Can you hype me up a bit? What are the benefits of that? You want some hype music? You want to put some music on and just kind of get you into the get you going on your True Cut? What are the benefits and whatnot? Okay, the True Cut is a well-built mower, chain driven. So as far as like maintenance goes, not a whole lot. If you keep some lubrication on the chain drive, you're in pretty good shape. The benefits, those are the benefits. It cuts well. You put a roller on it, it cuts pretty well. And then next up, as far as the cons, it is more of a pain to adjust. So, and by adjust, I mean if you are having to set the tolerance between the reel and the bed knife, which is something you tend to do when you have to backlap it, or if you just have to make a small adjustment over the season, it is more of a hassle to do that with the True Cut than with other mowers. Like for example, the greens mower, super easy. You can wrench and it's like a little, like a ratcheted detent. Like greens mowers are by far the easiest to do that, in my opinion. Second are like the way the Revolution does it and the way that Allet does it. You have like a bolt that's on the front of the mower that's pretty easy to get to. Then you turn it very slightly, and then that will either bring in the tolerance or decrease the tolerance, or it'll either close or increase the distance between the reel and the bed knife. That's another way of doing it. It's a little bit less precise in my opinion, because literally the way the greens mowers do it, each one of those clicks like represents a specific amount. So greens mower is by far the easiest from that standpoint. But going back to your True Cut, all I would say is put a roller on it. If it doesn't have a roller, put a grooved or smooth roller. I'm a fan of grooves personally. And they're built well. They run well. They climb slopes really well. They cut well. You're gonna enjoy it. It's a real mower. There's not a whole lot of bad about them. I would say take care of it. Try not to break it, because getting parts outside of a bed knife, like bed knives you can find pretty easily because there's other companies that make bed knives for them. But if you break like a clutch assembly or like some other part that is less common, it's been a challenge here lately to get parts. So that's the only thing I'd say. Take care of it. Only mow grass with it. Don't run over. Here's the thing. In the past, I would have told you, hey, if you want to scalp your lawn, feel free to scalp with a True Cut. I probably wouldn't use it for scalping these days, because scalping is pretty hard on the equipment, and you don't want to go to take the chance of burning out a clutch, and then now you gotta, you're got a mower that's kind of out of service, you can't get parts for. So I would say treat it with a bit more respect than you perhaps had to treat True Cuts with in years past, because you can't fix them as easily as you could a few years ago. But again, you're gonna enjoy it. It's a great mower. All right, and hope that helps. We'll clap it up for you too. You get some new equipment, we got to recognize that. Let's see here. Sammy Singh says, hey Ron, when should you use a surfactant? Excellent question, Sammy. So if you are using a post-emergent herbicide, like Celsius, like Certainty, like Tenacity, like Sedgehammer, a surfactant is going to help the herbicide adhere to the leaf of the weed you're targeting better, and is also going to prevent rainfall from washing it off. It's going to help it. It's going to help it work better. The times when you would not want to use surfactant are if you are using a herbicide where it specifically says not to use one. So for example, if you're using Velocity PM, which is what you would use for controlling Poa annua and Poa trivialis in coolses and turfgrass, like on the label, and in their guidance, it specifically says do not use surfactant of any kind with this herbicide, and it's a post-emergent herbicide. So outside of herbicides where they specifically say to not use it, I'm a fan of using surfactant with post-emergent herbicides. So pretty much all of them for the most part. When would you, outside of a product that doesn't call for it, when would you also not do it? If you're mixing, let's say, Celsius Certainty, and you're doing it with pre-emergent, in that case, I would omit surfactant. You don't necessarily have to, but I don't, because the idea is with pre-emergent is you want it to get into the soil, and if you're mixing surfactant with it, you're causing the pre-emergent to stick to the leaf of the plant, which is not really what you want. You want it to be in the soil. So if you're mixing pre-emergent and post-emergent herbicides, those are the times when I don't use surfactant. But outside of that, whenever I'm spraying a post-emergent herbicide, I'm putting some surfactant in the tank. I'm trying to think of other scenarios. If you were, that's good. This is another one. If you're, say you're blanket spraying a lawn, which again, this is kind of a niche one, but let's say you're spraying a liquid fertilizer and you also want to go out and you want to spray herbicide as well. So let's say you've got like some sedges all throughout your lawn, or you have some, Kalinga all throughout your lawn, and you want to put some, I don't have it here. I know where it is. Yeah. So you want to put some certainty in the tank, right? So in that case, if you're let's say you're blanket spraying the lawn with certainty because you got like sedges all throughout it, you got Kalinga all throughout it, and you're spraying fertilizer, in that case, I would also omit surfactants. If you're spraying like growth regulator or fertilizer in the mix along with your post-emergent herbicides, I am not a fan of using surfactant along with that. You're just increasing the likelihood of discoloration or damage, or potentially burning the grass if you were to do that. So there's a lot of edge cases where you wouldn't, but in most cases, if all you're doing is just spraying herbicides, yes, surfactant. If you're mixing herbicides along with other stuff, there's a yes and no. It depends on what you're doing. So hope that helps, Simi. In general, the big thing is just you want to use surfactant along with it. It does help it a lot better. Help the herbicides work better. Ryan says this community is unbelievably awesome. I agree, Ryan. Overall, it's a pretty good community. Everyone's for the most part, most people are pretty nice and decent. And the ones that aren't, we quickly escort them to other places. We just say, you're obviously lost. Let me help you find your way. So, all right. Brian says, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that. And then Annie says, it's all good. And Jason says, Watley. I think it's, I want to say maybe Watley or Waitley, maybe. I don't know. You have to, I'm not sure. Let me see. I am the ultimate hashtag. This is, are most liquid fertilizers created equal iron and nitrogen, or are there different levels to them? Are they all created equal? I'm being inclined to say no, because there's different types of nitrogen, and depending on the blend of nitrogen, you can get a faster or slower response. When it comes to iron, if it's chelated iron, yeah, that's pretty much the same across most liquid fertilizers. But I mean, that's just one component of it. Well, here, why this is not an easy question to answer? I'm the ultimate hashtag. If all you're saying is if you take two fertilizers and they both have nitrogen and iron, and they have the same type of nitrogen and the same type of iron in them, or they're both chelated iron in both of them, then yes, in that case, there's not a whole lot in it. But that is rarely the case. Like if you look at a liquid fertilizer that has a nitrogen, because a lot of them are blends, there will be a certain percentage of slow release and fast release nitrogen, and even that percentage between different brands, different products, will be different. So, and then there's also, you're not also accounting for other additives that are in there as well. So for example, in our 22-3 fertilizer, which has nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in it, it also has micronutrient in it. It also has kelp in it. It also has fulvic acid in it. So it's not so simple as to say, are all fertilizers that have nitrogen and iron equal? No, not unless that's all they have. If all they have is just nitrogen and it's the same type of nitrogen, and all they have is iron and the iron is chelated in both of them, then yes, they are for the most part the same. But that is rarely the case. Normally it's different. It's a blend of those things. So in general, no, they're not all the same. That's probably the best way of saying it. Stephen Thompson is up next. He says, what's up, Ron? About to go get a double cut in on the front yard, then cut the back edge, weed, eat, throw down some flagship, and then grill and enjoy some cold beers. Have a great day today, sir. You know what? You didn't talk about equipment, but because of the double cut, we're going to clap it up for you. We'll give you some applause for that. We're going to recognize the double cut. Got to do it. We're going to recognize it. You know, if it dries out enough, I might go mow today anyway, just because you're doing it, Steven. If the grass dries up enough, I might get out there and mow my lawn. I mowed yesterday, but hey, why not today? Doesn't hurt. Next up is Matt Jackson. He says, hey, Ron and all. Thanks for the tips on sedge and my zoysia. I treated it last week and I see it starting to yellow and die. Love that. Going to be buying some carbonized PN at Site 1 later for more leveling. I dig it. I like it, Matt. Good stuff. Cheers. And he says, cheers. I appreciate those chats. You're very welcome. Glad it's useful. And then John McCary says, hey, Ron, question for you on the Hudson Star Reel Mower. I have 4,000 square foot yard, fairly level. Your thoughts on this mower? I have not used one personally. Having said that, I have a picture from someone that has a green that has a Hudson Star, and it was absolutely, if you guys will bear with me, I'll see if I can find it without having to go through, oh, I might not have it. Is it this guy? Oh, I guess right. Look at that. Of all the pictures I got here. Okay, so that is cut with a Hudson Star. So now, for a manual push reel mower, that looks legit. That looks, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm not, granted, we are far away. We're not really up close, but the cut quality looks pretty good. The appearance looks really nice. So yeah, that's all I can tell you. Like this is a viewer that sent this in who, spends a lot of time on his green, and he cuts it with a Hudson Star reel mower. A 4,000 square foot backyard. Yeah, I mean, if you want a push reel mower that has a better cut quality than, your average push reel mowers, then yeah, it's a good option. It's worth looking into. I think these things they're still $2,000. I haven't even looked to see lately what they cost. Hudson, let's see here, Hudson Star reel. Greens mower. You put like green real mower. They're like, now we're greens mower. They are, what do they cost these days? Let me look. Oh Lord, they went up. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, so the 20, looks like they start at $2,300, and then the 8 blade is $2,500, and then the professional greens is 20. So yeah, so you're looking at like 23 to 20, between $2,000 to $3,000, right? $2,300 up to almost $3,000. So that's a lot, man. I mean, for a push reel mower, right? I mean, I'm sure it cuts great, but unless you're someone to where you're like, you know what, one, I want to use a mowing as part of getting my exercise, and I just definitely don't want to have a gas powered mower. I don't want to have to deal with batteries. Like you are just really a person that is just particularly wants that. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, to me, $3,000 is like, you could buy a used greens mower for that, and a greens mower, I would argue, is going to cut better than that is going to cut. So for the money, it's I think it is the right mower for the right person. That's probably the best way of saying it. I'm sure it cuts great. Sure, it's an awesome mower, and I think for the person that really wants one, then go for it. But I mean, almost $3,000 for a push reel mower is a tough proposition when you can get a greens mower, a pre-owned greens mower for that, and it's gonna cut better, but just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, next up is hanging out with the family. This is Happy Memorial Day, Ron and other viewers. My name is Sam Heinzel from Heinzel, Georgia. Whenever I cut my Bermuda grass this time of year, I get scalp spots on my lawn. My lawn is uneven. Maybe that's the cause. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that could be causing that, Sam. First of all, thanks for the question. But with Bermuda, especially if you can tell me if you're real mowing it or not. If you are, whether you're real mowing it or not, but especially if you're real mowing it, Bermuda starts to grow faster this time of year. And as it starts to get thicker and thicker and thicker, if you don't do something to thin it out, which can be verticutting, which is I'm a fan of, or you hear some people talk about like, like the mid-season scalp, like a mid-season reset, what you'll tend to find is the mower, instead of actually riding on the grass like better and cutting more evenly, it will begin to float on the lawn, and that will cause scalping in areas that you did not have scalping before. So assuming that you are cutting enough in other words, assuming that you're cutting enough that your mowing frequency supports the height of cut that you're after. So in other words, you're not cutting off too much leaf in one go, then it could be the lawn just maybe needs to be thinned out a bit. You know what I mean? Because that's definitely a thing with Bermuda grass that gets real mowed as it gets in this time of year when it gets hot and it starts to really grow and it gets really thick. You'll start to have scalping in areas you didn't have scalping before. And again, the way to fix it is to either verticut it, which is a way to gently thin it out, or to do a reset, like a how to cut reset, like a light scalp, which is the more aggressive and the uglier of the two, because the lawn looks kind of unsightly after you're done with it. But then that's going to thin the lawn out and get back to where you're not having those brown spots when you mow. And I'm answering this, so I'm assuming that you're getting these marks in an area you did not get it before. So like if in, say, March and early April, you could cut those areas and there was no discoloration or no scalping, but now after you cut it a day or so later, they're brown, then it sounds like that's what's happening. So you can do a couple of things. You can try raising the height of cut up a bit and seeing if that helps. But if you're real mowing it, again, you'd be shocked. You'd be surprised at how much thinning out the lawn with a verticut will really help the appearance of it throughout the lawn this time of year. So something else to consider if you're looking to make things better. And I will tell you, if you want to see the improvements that you can see from regular verticutting and turf raking on a Bermuda lawn, if you go back and look at videos of my lawn from like 2020, like from years ago, compared to like 2 or 3 years ago when I got the Allet and I started like turf raking and verticutting regularly, that's been the biggest difference as far as like a visual appearance. Like the lawn just looks so much better now since I started incorporating that into my program. So something to consider in your lawn. Hopefully it gives you some things to think about. So first, easiest thing, try raising the height of cut. That's thing one. That's easiest. But if you're like, no, I don't want to do that, I want to keep the same height of cut, or your answer is, it wasn't doing this before, but it's doing it now, consider thinning out the lawn, and that will reset things and allow you to cut at the same height and still maintain the lawn green between mowings. So hope that helps. Thanks for taking some time to hang out with us here on the live stream Memorial Day. I appreciate the question. You are very welcome, Rob. Thanks so much. And then next up we have the Notorious AZ. He says, hey, Ron, what is a process after you top dress with sand as it relates to mowing? Wouldn't the sand dull the blades? How long do you wait to mow? Excellent question. So after I top dress, I do two things. One, I wait for the lawn to grow through before I put the mower back on it. And then second, I raise the height of cut slightly. As much as it pains me to do it, I raise the height of cut. And there's a video that I have on this very topic of what comes after you after you top dress your lawn. And there's three things. Like, you just got through top dressing your lawn. For anyone that wants some tips, this is like some of the best. How long is this video? 2 minutes and 40 seconds that you can watch. That's going to help you out as far as what to expect after you top dress your lawn. And Notorious AZ, I'll link it here so you can actually see it. But the long short of it is, for the first few days after you get done with the top dressing, you're going to want to water. So water regularly to help the sand settle. Thing two is take your leveling rake and just drag it over the lawn. That's going to help, again, further work that material into the canopy and expose the tips of the grass. It's going to help speed up recovery. And then thing three that I cover in that video is to raise the height of cut slightly on your mower. And I'm using a real mower as an example. Because that will really penalize you if you get it into the sand. So raise the height of cut up slightly, and then you can start mowing it, and that is going to do a lot for keeping sand out of the reel and bed knife and keep your mower cutting well. So hope that helps, Notorious AZ. That would be my recommendation to you as far as what to do after you're done with a top dress. As far as how long to wait to mow, it depends. It depends on how heavy you went with the top dressing. Most people are able to resume mowing within a couple of weeks. If it's the first time. If it's the first time, it tends to take longer for the grass to go through because you tend to go a little bit heavier. Within 2 weeks, though, you should be able to start mowing again if you went lighter as far as your top dressing. Michael is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I live in Ackworth with Bermuda grass. I'm starting to see some clover appear in different areas of my lawn. Which weed killer do you recommend? Thank you for your insight on lawn care. So if all you care about is clover, you could use a 3-way for clover, Michael, but really this time it's starting to get hotter, go with Celsius. We offer it in a 10 ounce, which you probably don't need this much of it, but you can get it in like the single packs, like single ones like this. This will do 4,000 square feet at the lower rate or 2,000 square feet at the higher rate. It's an easier way to go. You don't have to measure it. Just, throw it in a sprayer with either 2 or 4 gallons of water, along with some surfactant, and then that will do a good job knocking out the clover. So I'll send you a link to that, or I'll show you where you can actually find it on the Golf Course Lawn Store. If you go to shop and then to weed killer, the second option is going to be Celsius, and you can get the individual use packet that you got here. We have a little single dose kit, which comes with Celsius, marker dye, and surfactant. And then if you want the 10-ounce bottle, you can do that. Or if you need the 10-ounce kit, you can do that. So it just depends on how big of an area you're trying to treat. But if all you're looking to do is some spot spraying, single dose, or even better, the single dose kit, which comes with everything you need to get a good result, is the way I might go. If it's not that hot where you are, you could also use like a three-way. You could use a three-way like Triad. Like, so this is an option. What I showed you here is option one. And this is, I think, the option that gives you the best legs, best coverage, because it controls a lot more weeds, and there's not really any temperature restrictions as far as using it. Whereas, which in Georgia, it gets hot enough to where that is a consideration. Another option is to go with something like this, like Triad, which will control clover cost-wise. In other words, yeah, I would get the individual use packet, man. I would go with the Celsius kit, the small one, because you're paying about the same thing. It covers more weeds. You don't have the temperature restrictions, and yeah, that's the way I would go. The more I think about it, I was going to say this is an option. But the more, as I was talking through it in my own mind, Celsius is what I would do. So hope that helps, Michael. I will send you a link to that here to help you out, because you'll be like, I don't want to have to go like Google it and look for it and then have to search and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll help you out. So you're covered. There you go. That's what I would go with for that. And it's going to control a bunch of other weeds too. So if you got some spurge in your lawn or a bunch of other broadleaf weeds, Celsius is the bee's knees for that. All right, next up is Terry. Terry J says, hey, Ron, I have some spots of some grassy weeds in my cool season grass. Tenacity bleached it, but didn't kill it. I think it might be quack grass. Is glyphosate the only option? Yeah, I don't know of a selective way to control, assuming it's quack grass. I don't know of a selective way to control quack grass in a cool season lawn. So yeah, if you can spot spray the area with glyphosate, or just the weed, that might be what you have to do, man. So sorry you're dealing with that, but there's a couple of weeds where your choices are dig it out or careful applications of glyphosate, like in our case, like Dallas grass, dig it out, or, careful targeted applications of glyphosate. But that's in Dallas grass, that's not really going to get rid of it forever. So I don't have a better answer for you, but it's, again, assuming that quack grass is what you have, Terry, then yes, that's what I would look into. Targeted apps of glyphosate. And if you're looking to really put an ouchie on it, we have a glyphosate product that has diquat as well, which is better than just Roundup by itself. So this guy, where do I have it? Yeah, Roundup Quick Pro. So this has both glyphosate and diquat, which will burn the leaf of the quack grass better than just using glyphosate alone. So if you want something to spot spray with, and it also comes in individual packets, so you can just get one of these, throw it in a gallon of water, and away you go to help to get there and spot spray. So I'll send you this in case you're so interested. And that's the route that I would go. So hopefully that helps. And if you need anything else, drop me a comment and I'll do my best to help you out. Okay, Mark Lynn is up next. He says, hey, Ron, hope everyone is doing well and got their mow in. Hit the like button. Lawn's looking great for Memorial Day. Salute to all those who served and are still serving. Amen to that. Ruben Flores is up next. He says, new Braunfels mowing Tiff-Tuff 3/4 with electric wheel. Sent Reno pics. Fixed a little draining, aerated, and leveled. All right, Ruben, so if we can find your pictures here. Oh, there we go. Actually, wait, I got another one here. I got to show first. Actually, no, I'll do this and I'll show Gary's. Gary, I got your picture that you sent to me, and I'm going to show it after Ruben's. So this looks pretty cool. So it's Tiff-Tuff Bermuda electric reel mode. So what is it? Is electric reel mowing superior to gas reel mowing? You had to say it was an electric reel mower. Okay, all right, whatever, Ruben, do you. You sent Reno pics, you did fix the draining, you aerated, and you leveled, and this is what it looks like. Overall, quite nice. I can't complain. And you know what's cool about this, Ruben? I'm looking, you know, when I see a lawn like this with a privacy fence, the thing I look for is the grass along the fence line. And the Tiff Tuff is doing pretty well, man. It looks like, you know, I was expecting it to be thinned out a little bit, but it actually looks pretty good. So, you know, a couple things. Maybe the way the sun goes over your house is good in the sense that, you know, the grass does well, but on all three sides, it looks pretty good. So cool. Nice work. It's only going to get better as you as the season progresses. So you're definitely on the right. Oh, you got a closer. Got another one here. Got to show the other picture of his green. See, now you're just showing off, but it's okay. We'll show the folks. So this is his green that I guess he's mowing out there as well too. And again, looks nice. You got the tree there and your golf green, some shrubs in the corners. Looks cool, man. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nice space. Looks like a nice space to go and hang out. And you got see, I saw the drainage that you put in the front of the picture. It looks like right there. Is that what that is? So yeah, nice. Good job. Nice work. And then Gary sent some pictures of his lawn. And Gary's like, I got to drop the hammer now. I got to show you guys. Got to show you guys what's up. Man, it looks good. You know what? Here's the problem with these kind of pictures when I show this, Gary. I get so much hate from folks being like, oh man, your lawn looks good, but you really should put like shrubs in, do some kind of decorations and make it look more, you know, like complete the picture more. And Gary's lawn is an example of what that would look like if I were so inclined to actually do it, but I'm not. So if you look at this, we'll go over here. Look at that. Look at his beds. Nicely done. He's got like a rock garden. Looks like he's got going on in there. The grass, the color looks awesome. Got some nice plants and shrubs along. So just aesthetically, very nice, sir. Very nice, very pretty. I have to admit. I mean, it's more work than I would want to take on, but I can appreciate the level of effort, not just of the grass, but of everything else. Because I mean, look at the garden on the left there, and you got all those shrubs, and they're all trimmed and manicured. That's just a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, and I respect it. I can respect that. It looks pretty good. You are better than me from that perspective. The lawn looks great. Property in general just looks great. Like curb appeal, top notch. Top notch. Can't take anything away from that. And then we says, adding sand seemed to encourage ants to move in. Is that common? I don't know if adding sand would encourage that. I've not experienced it. But you can always get rid of them. Use, if it's fire ants, use Advion. And if it's non-fire ants, you can also use, so there's two Advions. There's Advion insecticide and there's Advion fire ant bait. The Advion insecticide will control ants other than fire ants. And if you have fire ants, then you want Advion fire ant bait. I don't know why Syngenta did it that way. I mean, I'm sure it makes sense to them, but they have like literally two products named Advion. One is fire ant bait, and one is not fire ant bait. One is a general insecticide. So it's kind of confusing, but whatever. All right, Devin's up next. He says, thanks, Ron. It's coming in for sure. I can't wait to get it out of seed head phase. I hear you. I feel you on that. It's looking clean, man. I showed you guys a little flash of it. I didn't show you guys really close because he didn't say, Ron, you can share these pictures. And I'm sure he wants to look pristine before they become like, you know, clearly publicly available. So I got to respect that. Dalvin Larry's up next. He says, hey, Ron, delivery guy dropped off the Anu. There was some common planted in my backyard before I knew the Golf Course Lawn Academy. It's okay. It happens. LOL, looking forward to seeing the effects of this PGR combo. Awesome. Awesome. So what Dalvin is talking about is in a recent video, I think last week, I published it last week anyway, on growth regulators, I talked about using not just Primo by itself, but using Primo and a new EZ together. This combination, I really, really like the results I'm getting with it as far as just the evenness of regulation, and also for a person that has a Bermuda lawn, if you have some hybrid in there, it's a great way to mask the common so you just don't see it as much. So Dalvin, feel free to definitely report back in as far as the results you get with it. I think you can be pleasantly surprised. I really like it. I really like a new EZ, especially when you throw some Primo in there with it. Good stuff. Keep me posted. Next up, we got Phyllis Lawrence in the house. She is saying, hey, Ron and fellow enthusiasts, this Memorial Day might be a hot one. Forecast is 101 degrees in San Antonio, Texas. Thanks for the foreplay advice. I'm seeing less seed heads. Thumbs up. Hit the like button. Thanks so much, Phyllis. I appreciate it. It's starting in Texas, right? 101 degrees already in San Antonio. That's getting it. And let's see here. Hi, Ron. Yeah, I just already took care of you, Brian, as far as the soil test results. I answered that. And then Oliver is up next. He says, Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Monday, Ron. Planning on laying my second app of fungicide as you have recommended. Is it okay to use Pillar SC if the first one was Headway? Yes. Yeah, no problem with doing that at all. No problem with doing that at all, Oliver. So if you did Pillar Headway is your first one, Pillar SC is your second, that should clean things up. If you're still having disease issues, then I would rotate to something like Clary's, like 336, because Pillar SC and Headway, they're in the same group. They're like a group. You know what? I've got a bottle right here. I'm just trying to remember. I think it's a group 3 and 11. Yes. So they're both group 3 and 11 fungicides. So if you do 2 apps in a row in sequence, it's a good idea then to rotate groups. And Clary's 336F is group 1, I think. I think it's not 3 or 11. That I do know. So, but I believe it's group 1. So this is what I'm talking about, Oliver. I'll send you a link to what I'm talking to it in case you need that. You shouldn't, but in case you do need it. This is what I would go with. I think it's a group 1. I'm curious now. Yeah, it is group 1. All right, cool. So here you go. At Oliver. This is what I would I'd say to go with if you have to do a third app, but you're unlikely to have to do that. But if you need to, then that's what I would say. Spencer Bigham says, Ron is looking amazing following your spoon feeding program and mowing every 2 to 3 days. The products are worth it. Thank you for all the help. I appreciate that, Spencer. The process is it is different. It is more labor intensive, but I think the results speak for themselves. So that's one of the challenges that I have. Sometimes people reach out to me and they'll say, hey, I want to do exactly what you do. Again, a lawn looks like yours, but I want to do it my way. I want to get I don't want to mow that as often. And what a common thing is people send me a list of products that they want to use and says, how can I use this stuff and get the same result as you? And I said, well, 2 things. One, I don't have direct experience with this stuff, the list of stuff that you sent me. So I can't in good conscience say, do this at these rates and you're going to get this result. And then second, I've already given you the answers. I literally have blog posts and videos and content and everything else saying, if you do this, use this stuff, this is, and you also mow your grass regularly, these are the results you're going to get. It's been proven out time and time again, not on just my lawn, but on countless other people's lawn, that the products and the process works. So it's just not. And also, just frankly, I run a business. It's not. Why would I go out and spend time on something that one I don't even have? So I'd have to go out and buy the products that these people send me and say I want to use this stuff. I have to go acquire it, which is going to cost me money. And then I already have something that works. So why do that? It just seems like a lot of work. It's like you're trying to create a solution to a problem that's already been solved. So I'm not saying that my way of solving it is the only way of solving it, but it is a way. It is a way that works. And if you like it, do it. And if you don't. But it's not my job to tell you how to not do it. I guess what I'm trying to get to. But I'm glad you're getting great results, Spencer. I'm glad the spoon feeding program works. And like I say what I show in the calendar, it works. The process works if you do the work. If you're consistent, getting the results is pretty much a foregone conclusion given the time. And then Gary Freeman says, I sent you a picture of my lawn. This is the 14714 Nutri-Kelp and Release Zero. So this picture that Gary sent here, that is a lawn with the complete 14714, Nutri-Kelp from Miramichi, and also the Release Zero product. So that's looking legit. I would take that. Gary. I think most people would. The color looks good overall. I think they'd be happy with a lawn like that. So nice work. Really do appreciate that. And you know what? I will make it even easier. If you guys want to see the fertilizer that Gary's using, I got Humic Max tagged right now, but right now we'll pin the 14714 for the time being. So that's now the pin fertilizer. It's below, both those fertilizers are beneath this video if you're watching it on YouTube. There's a carousel with all the products, and I think the 14714 is the first one. All right, next up is Jimmy Miller. He says, I picked up some Carbon Pro G, some Dimension, along with NOS 24-211. Of all these 3, I've only applied the Dimension. Should I apply these products separately? Not, I mean, yes, because you can't really mix them. But if your question is if I'm going to apply all three of these on the same day, what order would I do them? I would do the Carbon Pro G, and then I would do the fertilizer, and then I would do the pre-emergent last. So it would be granular biostimulant, granular fertilizer, and then any side, which pre-emergent would happen to be, it's because the pre-emergent is a type of herbicide, that afterwards. So granular fertilizer, granular biostimulant, granular fertilizer, and then liquids after that. So I would do it. All right, next up is Profile and Reality. Says, I hope was all as well. Keep excelling, man. I'll do my best. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then next up is Jimmy. He says, I really need more of the Carbon Pro G. Looking forward to see how much of an effect it will have on my lawn. I think you'll like it. It's a good product. And then yes, Tasa and Marietta. Yeah, I Jazz Mohammed. Here's things. So here's a man that knows his Caribbean food, his island food. So Tasa, which is run by some Trinidadians, that's where I took my mom. I took her there because I took her to the one when they used to have a location near North Point Mall. And around lunchtime, they used to have it's like a buffet, but they used to have like callaloo and just pretty much everything, all the island comfort food, if you're Trinidadian especially. And my mom went there and she ate and she was like, man, this is if I cooked it, this is how it would be. And it should be because it's actual Trinidadians that are cooking there. And now that location closed down, and the only one I think is the place that's in Marietta. So I don't get up there as much as often because that's a hike. That's like an hour and change with traffic. But yeah, Tasa is like, legit. Like if you want to taste like true Caribbean, like true Trinidadian food that's on point, that's authentic, I would highly recommend it. I agree with you, iJazz. It's good stuff. That's my go-to, or was my go-to before they moved all the way out to wherever they are. And then next up is Bumpy Lumpy. He says, good morning, buddy. Thanks for all the info. My lawn is catching up now. I'm half St. Augustine and half Bermuda. I use baking soda to kill off the last of the crabgrass, waiting for things to green up a bit. Nice. Cool. Let's give it time. Give it time. And then let's see what else we... next up, we got... let's see here. We got Buster Cherry. I think he says, you got me. It's a good play on words. He says, hey Ron, getting into reel mowing with a manual reel mower, what would be the next mower upgrade? Revolution? I guess you're manually reel mowing. Yeah, that or a greens mower. It depends on what you're looking for. So yes, if you want a brand new mower after mowing with a manual reel mower, going to a Revolution is a great choice. The next thing I would say is going to be like a greens mower, like a John Deere or a Greensmaster. Either one of those are going to be great. They're going to be great choices. The only other thing is this, right? A way to verticut or turf rake your lawn. If you're really trying, here's the thing. Like if you look at, I got a picture here. If I can find it. If you look at because my lawn's a good example of it. Go and look at videos or pictures of my lawn from like 2020 and 2021, right? Yes, going from a manual to a powered reel mower is going to make a big difference, and the Revolution is an excellent choice. But if you really, once you do that, once you get the Revolution and you start mowing with it, if you're trying to get the next step up, like in other words, if you want to get like an appearance where it's like that, where you're able to mow it nice and tight and it looks literally like a checkerboard and just looks incredible and the colors like just popping, you're gonna have to start verticutting. Like verticutting or turf raking or something you're gonna have to do to really, really take your Bermuda to the next level. I mean, so you got you got rotary mowing regularly, which is good, and then you got manual reel mowing, which is better, and then you got powered reel mowing, which is like an order of magnitude better than powered reel mowing. And then when you start incorporating verticutting and like turf raking in your cultural practices, it's not like the same level of magnitude from like going from a manual push reel mower to like a powered reel mower. But as far as being able to stand out amongst powered reel mowed lawns, even greens mowed reel lawns, adding turf raking and verticutting is going to allow you to do that. In other words, if you had a a Revolution, right? And you also verticut your lawn this time of year once a month or so, right? So you verticut it once a month, and you also mowed it with a Revolution. And you compare that to a lawn that is only cut with, say, a greens mower, but there's no turf raking, no verticutting, none of that. The first lawn with the Revolution, which is arguably not as good cutting mower as a greens mower, is going to look better because it's not just the mowing. Like, the mowing is important, it's a huge part of it, but also managing the amount of debris in the lawn and thinning it out like in a responsible way with verticutting. Man, I mean, I would have not thought that it would have made that much of a difference, but you got, again, it's in the proofs of the pudding. Again, look at pictures of my lawn from like a couple years ago, which look good, and compared to now, it's just not even in the same universe, in my opinion. So, to answer your question, yes, Revolution, awesome upgrade. But I'm already trying to move you down the path of, when you ask me what comes next after this, that's gonna be the next thing. Like, figure out a way to be able to verticut the lawn monthly when it's actively growing, and it's gonna be that much better. That much better. Then you're gonna be like that guy among the guys and gals. So if you want to be like, everyone's real mowing on my street, how do I like make my lawn stand out among everyone else's real mowing? That's how you do it. And then next up, we got Illuminated Dad. He says, "Hey, Ron, is it too late in the season to verticut in Georgia?" No, not at all. Not at all. Mm-mm. I mean, case in point, like last year, like this year, I started verticutting sooner because I wanted just to see if the lawn would look even better if I did it sooner. And the answer is it did. But last year, the first time I verticut was Memorial Day weekend. And there's actually a live stream of it. If you guys wanted, I was turf raking, but the actual time of the verticutter hit the lawn was Memorial Day weekend last year. And if you want to see that process, there's a live stream that I did last year of the entire process, and you can check that out if you so desire. But to answer your question, no, it's not too late at all to verticut your lawn in Georgia. There's still plenty of time. I mean, you're just really just getting into it. So if you were my neighbor in Northeast Georgia, I would say you'd verticut this month, you'd verticut the end of June, you'd verticut July, the end of July. So in other words, going from May to June, you would verticut. Going from June to July, you would verticut. And then going from July to August, you could also verticut. August to September, unless it's a really hot, like it's still hot that time of year, you may or may not want to, but you can get at least three this season if you were to do your first one this weekend. And I'm trying to find, here we go. I found the live stream of it. So this is verticutting, turf raking, and mowing Memorial Day weekend last year. So if you want to see what the process looks like, this is it done live. Live stream. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Bill Stewart says, "Midday again, Ron. You need to get a life, brother." I like it. No, actually, it's already. Oh, wow, it's almost 1 o'clock. Yeah, I've been going a while now. This started 3 hours ago, so it actually wasn't midday. It was like early morning, or mid morning. It wasn't midday. But yeah. Next up, we got Phantom Works. I'm torn between the Hudson Star and a Revolution 26. I don't know, man. You said you got 4,000 square feet. It's your call. If you're someone that wants an organic lawn care program, then the Hudson Star is a better fit. If the size of your lawn is not so big that you don't mind push reel mowing 4,000 square feet, it wouldn't be a bad choice. But the Revolution cut, it's a really good cut mower, man. It's a really great mower, but it depends on you. It's for the right person, the Hudson Star is the perfect mower. If you're someone that wants a completely organic approach to lawn care, where you are, again, you're not relying on batteries, you're not relying on gas, and you still want a very good cut. Again, I've not used one personally, but all the pictures I've seen looks like it cuts really well. If you're wanting like the best you can get, arguably the best you can get for a push manual reel mower, then that would be your choice. But you're paying a premium. You're paying a premium for that. So it's really up to you. So for the right person, for a person that checks all those boxes, wants organic lawn care, wants a manual reel mower, wants a great cut, then yeah, sure. But for most people, the value would not be there given what you can buy for that price. Again, you can buy a pre-owned John Deere and a pre-owned Greensmaster or like a brand new Revolution, and those are gonna cut better than that mower is gonna cut. So there's that. I mean, I say this, the greens mowers definitely will. The Revolution, who knows? Maybe there's a little bit of maybe the Hudson Star might do slightly better than the Revolution, but I still say a greens mower is going to be the top dog. So they're still going to be the king or queens of cut. So they are. Let's see. Stephen Thompson says, I agree with putting sod down on the entire property. We are over half an acre, and the backyard only has 30 to 40 feet out from the rest of the grass. We are on the second owner, so it's been a challenge. It's been a lot of fun battling blue stem and Dallas grass, all of which is mature. That stinks. Sorry to hear that, Stephen. Latanja Moore says, hello, Ron and everyone. What's going on, Latanja? Hopefully you're doing well. I think you're in Georgia. I think I met you at the Real Rollers party not last year or year before last, Latanja. So glad to see that you're doing okay. Bill says, I used my rotary for a while after top dressing with sand. That's another option as well too. Yep, that's an option. Latanja says, I put down Pillar SC and waiting for 14 days to apply the second app. Would it be helpful to put down a different fungicide in between, or when will it start to look better? So no, I would stick with that. I would do Pillar like you've done already, and I would do a second app in 14 days. And then when will it start to heal or look better? It depends on how bad the damage got. So with fungicides, keep in mind, you apply a fungicide, it's going to arrest the spread of the disease, meaning it's going to stop it from getting worse. But then how long it takes to get better is based on how bad the damage was. So when I had large patch in my lawn, 2 weeks later, it started looking a lot better after the fungicide application. I might have that in the image carousel for headway to be able to show you. I might. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So this is it. So if you look at headway G, and you can expect similar results with Pillar. So if you look at the damage, so see I had large patch in my lawn. So this is 2 weeks before. So it looked like I was very upset, hurt, crying. I applied headway, and then 2 weeks later, you can still make it out. You can still see the damage. You can still see that there was something that happened in the lawn in this ring around here, right? You can still see that, but it's a lot better. So it depends. So I went from that to that in 2 weeks. While this is visual and you can see it, I've seen large patch much worse than this. So if in your lawn the damage was more severe than this, it's probably going to take longer than 2 weeks to recover. But it gives you an idea of what you can expect to see over, a 2 week period as far as recovery goes. And then I think I've got someone else that had some disease problems. So headway G before, and then this is after headway G. So this was 3 weeks later. So this is another lawn. This is a cool season lawn. They had damage. The disease damage in the lawn, and then 3 weeks later they went from that to that. So still, I mean, it's definitely largely improved. So it really depends on where you're starting to give you an idea of what you can expect, Latanja. But it's going to be a waiting game. Like if your fungicide doesn't reverse the damage, it allows the lawn to heal it stops it from getting worse, then allowing the lawn to heal from said damage. Oh, cool, man. So Ruben Flores is showing his electric reel mower conversion. He sent me a picture of it. You got to show that. That's pretty cool, man. You guys are something else. So what mower is that? I don't know what that is by default. It's cool. Did you build this from scratch, or what was it before? Oh, what was it before? Oh, I think it was like an Earthwise or something. Cool. Anyway, let me show you guys. So he sent me some pictures of his electric reel mower setup. And man, you got to respect the engineering and the ingenuity. So I think this was like a Scott's or an Earthwise. I imagine based on the wheels, and you can see my man, he took the time to put the battery on one side, the motor on the other side, the control box there in the middle. So he's taking weight balance into consideration, so his cut doesn't get affected too much. And that's legit, man. It's quality. Looks good. It's pretty cool. And then the another shot of it, how it looks looking down. Again, pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. Very nice. Very nicely done. So that's an option for someone. If you like the cut of your electric reel mower or your manual reel mower, and you want to have like a baby step in between, you could do what Ruben did. I'm not sure what it cost him to do that. It looks like he had to redo the chassis, because if you look here, that doesn't look like the standard like the standard chassis that that mower comes on. So I don't know, reach out to Ruben, or ping him and say, hey Ruben, ask him for his email, or just ask him how and what he did to design and make that, and maybe he'll be able to help you out, because it looks cool. Very cool, man. Thanks for sending the pictures. We got to clap it up too for that. Cool equipment. I like it. All right. PPV La Verde, pay-per-view the green says, hey, good morning. I want to ask if you recommend a 4600 to be applied now. It's 85 to 90 degrees in El Paso. I wouldn't. I'd be afraid. You gotta be careful with that. Like straight, like high urea fertilizers, which is probably what that is. It's probably straight urea. Got to be careful. I mean, if you apply it, you're going to want to, depending on the rates you're using, you're going to want to water it in after application. Long short is no, me personally, I would not. I would use a blended nitrogen fertilizer versus that. So hope that helps. We carry a bunch of them in the golf course lawn store. You can find other ones in other places too, but I personally, I wouldn't, but it's your call. If I were going to put one out, I would do like Release 901C or something that has lower nitrogen, lower levels of nitrogen, and also that's more of a blend. That's not all fast released. All fast release or quick release nitrogen. So you can look at like what we have here, PPV, and hopefully that will help you out. But for me personally, no, I'm not sure if you're still here. Doesn't look like it. Looks like you've already, you're on Instagram. So I will link it there if you're on the gram. Take a look at that. All right, so we next have, we are winding down. Next up, we got Larry Clark. He says, Ron, I have Bermuda grass, and after the tornado last year, I'm having trouble controlling weeds. Pre-emergent. So really, you should be able to use pre-emergent to prevent a lot of the weeds in your lawn, and then post-emergent herbicides sparingly. So what I would say is, I mean, this time of year, it's a little bit late for it. You can still use it, but it's not going to be as good. So if we go to, where are we? It's the weed killer section. So in the spring and the fall, you're going to want to use one of these. If you got Bermuda, if you want like the Cadillac pre-emergent for Bermuda grass in the fall, Spectacle Flow. That's what I would use. It's a great product. And then for the springtime, either Dimension or Prodiamine. Either one of these in the springtime are a great option. Doing those two is going to do most of the heavy lifting for keeping weeds out of your lawn. That's going to do like most of the work. And then for the weeds for the breakthrough that you do have, you can choose an appropriate selective herbicide to clean that up. So pre-emergent, spring and fall, and then a post-emergent herbicide that's proper for your grass type, which for Bermuda, Celsius, or Certainty are going to do pretty well for you. Maybe some quinclorac, and then you'll be in good shape. But pre-emergent in the beginning and the end of the season is gonna really do a good job as far as reducing the amount of weeds that you are dealing with. So hope that helps, Larry. You can find that on the weed killer section on the golf course lawn store. If you have any other questions, let me know. All right, Ron says, my garage smells like 3 to 4 days after running the Revolution. When using my other lawn mowers, I don't get that problem. Any ideas? I tried shutting off the valve as well. Oh, I don't know. I don't get that with mine. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't get that with mine. I mean, do your other mowers have the Honda GX 160 in them? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Stephen. I am not sure as to why you're getting a smell of gas after you're done. I don't know. All right, R. Carter is up next. It says, I want to thank you for all the good information on Bermuda grass. Question, what can be done to help the lawn from going dormant in Texas heat? I've put Stress Blend on my lawn. So a couple of things, water, so keeping water on it, and then also using a moisture manager. That will also help prevent it from going dormant. But keep in mind that moisture managers, they help, they absolutely help, but you are going to need to put water of some sort on your lawn during the summertime. It's not like you're going to be able to put a moisture manager out now and then not water your lawn for a month and it's be okay. It's not. You're going to need to still use, you're still going to need to run irrigation, but a moisture manager helps the lawn resist drought a bit better. You know what I mean? In other words, the water that you put out, you're going to get more out of it if you use a moisture manager. So Foreplay or Hydrotain are what I would recommend, Carter. I've got a link to where you can find them here on the Golf Course Lawn Store. I'm not sure it's going to work for you on Twitter, but that if you just go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop and then soil moisture management, they'll all be listed under there. So hope that helps for you. But don't forget to water your lawn. That's still important. Still needs water. LTX Shep is up next. He says, other than keeping the blade sharpened on my rotary mower, are there any other tips to get a lawn close to a reel? My mower is a 30-year-old John Deere and has started on the first pull every single year. So I get it. You got that mower. You love your John Deere. You don't want to get rid of it. How can you get a cut that approaches what a real mower can do? So the smoother the lawn is, LTX, the better any mower is going to cut on it. But a rotary mower is more, at lower heights of cut, a rotary mower is more sensitive to an uneven lawn than a real mower is. So if your goal is to get the lawn to look, get that cut as nice as possible, using a rotary mower, having the lawn be as smooth as possible, so taking as many bumps out of it as you can, is gonna go a long way to helping you accomplish that. It's still not gonna be as good as what a real mower does, because if you think about it, I mean, just the way a rotary mower works, even though it's sharp, it's like you're hacking, like you're tearing at the grass, right? So if it's sharp, it does a good job, but it's not the same thing as like a pair of scissors cutting the grass, So it's a different, just the way that the mower cuts is a big part of it. How to cut, taking that out of it. Real mowers are always going to produce a cleaner and better cut at the same heights than, that's not necessarily true, at lower heights of cut than rotary mowers. Rotary mowers, if you get like a tall lawn, like say you're mowing your lawn at like 3 or 4 inches, a rotary mower is going to do better than a real mower, right? Because the real mower is going to tend to roll the grass down, which is going to cause some of it to not get cut, so it's not going to be as even. So if your question is, I want to get an amazing cut with my rotary mower, and I'm also mowing at taller heights, say over 2 inches, then the thing I would say is to still level your lawn, make it as smooth as possible, and that's gonna do a lot for you being able to get the absolute most out of your rotary mower. Because I get it, man. You got a mower, it's 30 years old, it's been faithful to you and been doing well and cutting the grass well, and yeah, there's not a reason necessarily have to go out there and trade in if you want, So I understand that. So leveling would be the thing I would say to look into to help you get more out of the cut quality with your rotary. And then next up, we got Boys in the Woods. It says, can I put down PGR at full rate? This is my first time this year applying it to the lawn. I wouldn't. Can you? Yes. Would I? No, I would not. I would not do that. I would, especially being your first time applying it to the lawn. What I would say is take whatever the labeled rate is for your particular grass type, cut that in half and spray that every 2 weeks. That's what I would do, especially if it's your first time using growth regulator. Because what tends to happen is people that the first time they're using it, they're going to look at how much, or probably even better, how little growth regulator it takes, and they tend to overdo it. And if you go a little bit slightly heavier and you're spraying at half rate, I'm not saying telling you to do that, but I'm saying if you measure your measurements a little bit off and you are spraying at half rate, so you're going a little bit heavier than you should be at the half rate, you are much less likely to have adverse effects versus if you go for the full rate and spray a bit heavier. So take whatever the rate is, cut it in half, and spray that every 2 weeks and maintain that throughout the rest of the growing season. That's what I would recommend. I would not go full rate for the first time this time of year. I wouldn't do that. If you want some tips on growth regulator, though, I've got, check out this blog that I actually need to amend now. I need to add some notes in here about a new. But this blog on growth regulator will be useful. It talks about exactly what I'm saying as far as preventing chip burn by spraying at half rate every couple of weeks. And I even have a little chart in there that gives you the rates you can use for spraying at half rates. So take a look at this. And then as far as your growth regulator, you can get those. Do I have a thing for that? You can get those. Yeah, you can get those here. You get the two options for growth regulators that we carry on the golf course lawn store. You can get them there. So hope that helps. Please heed my advice and not spray at full rate. I mean, you may or may not listen, but I'm trying to help you not have a bad result. I don't want, like, 2 weeks from now you're going to be coming in or sending me an email or saying, hey, I sprayed a heavy race and went a little heavy and now my lawn's got yellow in it. Because it kind of like because we'll fast forward this. If you don't do that and you overdo it on the rate, it's going to be a waiting game for the lawn to recover. It's going to, it's one thing, like tip burn is not going to be so bad. And with that, if you mow the lawn, it tends to be fine afterwards if all you do is you get the tip burn from the first app at higher rates. But if you overdo it, like you spray at 2, 3, like I've had people that have sprayed at 10 times the rate that they're supposed to, that's going to your lawn's going to look bad for a month. 5, 6 weeks is what you could be looking at. So the way to avoid all that is just spray at half rate every couple of weeks and you're going to be just fine. So that blog post I just linked to you with that guidance is going to help you out as far as how I would recommend you use growth regulator. And you know what? Because I feel so strongly about that, we'll make that the pinned comment in the live stream. So anyone that's watching it after the fact, you can click on that and you can learn all about growth regulator and how I would recommend you go about spraying it. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's a way that's going to prevent you from being mad at yourself. Tom Hoffenkamp is up next. He says, happy Memorial Day, Ron, and fellow lawn fans. Thanks for those that gave their lives for us. My stripes today are for all those stars. Awesome. Well said, Tom. I really do appreciate that. That's a good way of putting it. Well said. Let's see here. Jimmy says the best part about Carbon Pro G is the price. It's literally half the price of Humachar. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the thing you have to say though too, to be fair, right? Yes, Humachar is quite a bit more expensive than Carbon Pro G, but you're also paying for the granular technology they use, like that the dispersible granular technology that Anderson's uses is not cheap. It's not an inexpensive thing to do. So if you're purely looking at it from just an ingredient standpoint, then yes, Carbon Pro G is a less expensive way of getting the same ingredients that are in Humachar. Because essentially from that standpoint, they are the same. But as far as like which one's going to break down faster and start working sooner, the DG technology that Anderson's uses is pretty cool stuff, and magic isn't cheap. So they are proud of it, and if you want it, you're gonna pay for it, right? So I get it. But if you're applying it heavily and you don't really care that it takes like 3 weeks for Carbon Pro G to really break down, then it's a way to save some money. I'm completely with you on that one, Jimmy. Let's see here. He says, Ruben says, verticutting is what got my Tiff Tuff so thick. It was thin last year. Yes, but it's a way to also thin out the lawn. That's what I'm saying, Ruben. So if you're doing it the way I'd recommend, you would verticut, say, this weekend, and then as you mow the lawn throughout the month of June that we're going into, it would start to thicken up and thicken up and thicken up. And then at the end of June, you would verticut it again to gently thin it out, and you would repeat that 2 more times until the end of the season. So yes, you're right. Verticutting does thin out the lawn and it does encourage new growth. But the idea behind it is that it prevents a lot of the cutting problems that you tend to have when you are mowing Bermuda at lower heights if you don't do something to thin the lawn out. So you can verticut it, you can scalp it. Verticutting is the better of the two, in my opinion, because the lawn doesn't look like garbage when you're done with it. Like after I'm done verticutting my lawn, it actually looks really nice. Like the color, you can barely make out the lines, but the color looks better, largely because like all the trash that's in the lawn has been taken out of it. So it just looks, the appearance looks that much better. So something else to consider. Let's see here. It says, Louis says, what do I need for your spoon feeding program? The whole kit and caboodle. Thanks. Okay. So if you want to do spoon feeding, Louis, go to shop and then go to lawn fertilizer. One of the things I use, you cannot get yet, but you'll be able to get it in a couple of weeks. But you would use the 901C carbon kit. So depending on the size of your lawn, either 5,000 square foot or 10,000 square foot, depending on what size you need. What happens for a lot of people is they like the product. They like the price break they get with the 10,000 square foot kit. So even if you have a smaller lawn, you can still go with this one and be just fine. So you can do the kit, or you could do it a la carte where you get, where is it? You could buy release 901C. You can buy NutriKelp separately. So you can buy like a gallon of 901C, a gallon of NutriKelp, and then a small bag of BioSpectrum. If you have a larger lawn and you're trying to where the carbon kit is isn't necessarily the best way, because the bigger volumes you do get better value for dollar spent. So if you have a big lawn, a small packet of BioSpectrum, which comes in a 17 ounce or an 8 ounce, so a small one of those, which I'll just do this for you. I'll build out the program for you here while we do it live. So you can do that. So one of these, Lewis, are you still here? At Lewis. So I'll say option one. Let me type and paste at the same time. So option one, which is a la carte. And if I spelled a la carte wrong, you guys can make fun of me. I don't care. I think this is right. I think it's like this. I think it's how you spell it. If not, I'm wrong. Whatever. All right. So BioSpectrum, that's thing one. And then thing two would be you go to lawn fertilizer and get 901C and get NutriKelp. So a gallon of this and then a gallon of NutriKelp, because that is, so essentially what you've done there is you have built the carbon kit for a larger property, right? For a larger property, or you just want to have more applications of it. Like that essentially is the carbon kit. So you can do that, or you could come here and buy this, which is the same thing in smaller amounts, right? So it's like, this is like half a gallon, and then what I just linked to you starts at a gallon and then goes up. All right, so that is the core of it. For growth regulator, you could go with Primo Max, which is what I would recommend. If you're looking for even more even regulation, or if you also have common Bermuda in your hybrid lawn, use a new and Primo. So this is it's going to cost more, but you get a lot of applications out of it. So whereas with Primo, this covers about 16,000 square feet, one of these bottles. If you go to a new, I mean, you're paying more, but you get 160,000 square feet out of a bottle of a new. So one of these is going to last you a season and then some, unless you got a really big property. And we have a kit that has both of them. So if you want a new and Primo, you can buy them both and save a bit of money there. So I will link that for you in, actually, no, let's do this. Let's make it easier. So you can choose which way you want to go with that. But then that's it. The carbon kit and then growth regulator, whether it be a new and Primo or both of them. And then the one thing that you can't get as yet is a micronutrient, which is the one that I recommend, which is the golf course lawn micronutrient. You can still get Nutrizolve on the store. You can still get Nutrizolve for a couple more weeks. So if you want to go that route, you can for a micronutrient. I think we still have some in stock. Let me see here. I think so. Yeah, we still do. We still got some in stock. So if you want a micronutrient while you wait, you get a gallon of Nutrizolve, and then that's it. That's all of it. That is the full Monty. That's all in as far as your liquid fertilizer and your as far as liquids go, so your liquid fertilizers and your growth regulator. And then for your granular fertilizer, whichever your soil test results call for. So I use Humic Max. So I use this. If you needed a fertilizer with phosphorus, you could use the Complete 14-7-14. So you're likely going to end up with this or this, one of these two, for your granular fertilizer once a month. If you have cool season lawn, what I might recommend is this, because it's got higher potassium, which is a better choice. You know, if you got like KBG in the summer, this is a good way to go. And now as far as how I would apply all of those is the granular fertilizer once per month, so the beginning of the month, and then the liquids every 2 weeks. So let's say today we're June 1st. You would put out Humic Max, and then you would also spray your growth regulator and also the liquids. The rates are pretty easy. You're going to use 3 ounces per thousand of 901C, 3 ounces per thousand of NutriKelp. And then for the micronutrient, you're going to use, the way I use it is also 3 ounces per thousand, right? So if you have a 4-gallon sprayer, a total of 12 ounces of 901C, 12 ounces of NutriKelp, 12 ounces of micronutrient, and 4 gallons of water over 4,000 square feet. If you're doing growth regulator, if you're using just Primo, you would use half an ounce So 0.5 fluid ounces. So half an ounce of Primo in 4 gallons of water and spray that over 4,000 square feet. That is the half rate for Primo on Bermuda grass. If you're doing Primo and a new, so if you're doing these two together, you would still use half an ounce of Primo in 4 gallons of water, and you would use a total of 2 ounces of a new in 2 gallons of, in 4 gallons of water. So if I said 2 gallons at any point, I meant 4. So to recap again, if we're talking about mixing up 4 gallons of water to spray 4,000 square feet, 12 ounces of 901C, 12 ounces of NutriKelp, 12 ounces of micronutrient in 4 gallons of water. When it comes to your growth regulator, half an ounce of Primo, so 0.5 fluid ounces of Primo, and 2 ounces of a new in the same 4 gallons of water. You spray that over 4,000 square feet, and you're going to do that every 2 weeks, and it will look incredible. So that is that's the spoon feeding program in a nutshell. That is exactly what I do on my lawn. That is it. So I hope that helps, Lewis, and you can get everything that I listed there in stock now on the Golf Course Lawn Store. Our personal micronutrient, which is going to replace Nutrizolve, will be available for purchase in a couple of weeks. So hopefully that helps. And then next up is Ruben Flores. No. There we go. He says, most people wonder how I got my Tiff Tough to fill in so much. I reel mow often, and then verticut was my answer. My electric reel is just a conversion of my Earthwise. Cool. Like to hear that. Nice. And then next up is Jeremy White. He says, is UFC 302, who's the GOAT, John Jones or GSP? Was able to train in a seminar with Jones recently. Whoa, dude is a computer and a walking killer. Is it really going to happen? Is it really going to be a thing? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's almost like Tyson and who's the guy he's fighting? Is it Paul? Jake Paul? It's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say who would win that, Jeremy. Hard to say. GSP has been out of the game for a while. And I don't know, man. John Jones is pretty scary. I don't know if I'd want to. You want to get in the ring with him, man. I don't know. If it happens and they really go for it, it'll be a fun one to watch. You're very welcome, Phantom Works. And then Nick says, keep up the good work, Ron. I will do my best. I appreciate it. And then next up is No Name says professional career. Yeah, so my background as far as my professional career is information security. So leading up to that, so kind of starting to where my career when I moved to the States, So yeah, if as far as moving to the States, I've always worked in technology. So I did like system administration work for a while, and then I've always had an interest in InfoSec. So then I pivoted into that in the early to mid 2000s. So if you were going to go through my career from like 2000 to 2005 ish. I worked for a company called Scientific Atlanta, which is now Cisco. Cisco bought them, which was like a set-top box company, which is something that people don't really have anymore. Like right now, all TV is IPTV. We're using like either like a slant, like a Apple TV, or I'm sure Google has something like their Cast, their Google, their Chromecast, or whatever it is. But before then, you had to have a box and like a cable box. And I worked for a company that made those, and I was one of their field engineers, where I would travel around the country and do like plant upgrades. So in the middle of the night, we would shut off cable TV for 6 hours and do upgrades of all the systems and hardwares that fed TV, right? So I did that for a number of years. And then I moved into information security and did what's called penetration testing. So companies would pay me to break into their networks. So I worked for one of the biggest companies that you've never heard of, but if you're in the defense industrial base, you know who they are. You can find all this on my LinkedIn anyways. It's not like anything that's secret. A company called Computer Sciences Corporation, CSC. So I did pen testing for them for a number of years. Got to do a lot of cool stuff, work at a lot of cool facilities. Because I do work for the government, you get to do work at a lot of different government, like DOE, Department of Energy sites and that kind of thing. So that was fun work. And then did pen testing for a number of years again, until I transitioned to the company that I work for now, which is more defensive based. So my background from a security, my bread and butter is on breaking into networks. It's like I'm the guy that you hire to try and find bad things in your environment before hackers do. So when I got recruited by the company I work for now, the idea was they wanted to take like what a pen tester does. In other words, the question was this, right? Like a lot of software for detecting malicious activity in networks, at least 10 years ago, sucked. It wasn't really good, right? So the idea that we came up with was why don't we take like what a bad guy would do and model that in software and then use that to catch bad actors in an environment. So when I got hired, I was going through the interview with the company that I work for now, and I was saying, "Hey, you guys know I'm not like really a defensive guy. I'm a pen tester." So yeah, that's perfect. It's exactly what we're looking for because we want to take like a lot of your playbook. Like if you got into a Windows network, like what's the playbook of things you would do to gain like domain creds and then escalate to gain privileges and then like run software across the entire network. How would you go about like harvesting credentials and that kind of thing? And that playbook, or that's one of them, but that and several other playbooks got modeled in this software that we used for incident response, and it worked really, really well. So you could literally go drop our agents into a network, and if the bad guys were in there, literally once it was deployed throughout the network and was instrumented, we knew really quickly like what patient zero was, how they came in, where they moved throughout the environment, what commands they ran, and it made the eviction process easy because the problem with security or when you're trying to do IR work is if once the actors know you're there, right? So say you have a network and once the bad guys you tip them off that they're there, like you change passwords on credentials that they have, or you start putting firewall rules in to try and block them. What tends to happen? A couple of bad things can happen. They can do damage to the environment. They can burn the network down. Or if if you do that without first identifying any other persistence mechanisms they have in the environment, meaning while they might be using, say, if you're really bad, let's say that you had like RDP exposed to the internet and they were using that as a way to log into the environment. That might be one way that they're getting in, but there might be other ways, other Trojans that they have left out the network to be able to reestablish access to the environment. So the idea is you want to instrument the entire network and find as much as you can all the different ways they have to get into the environment, so you cut all the heads off the stake all at once, right? So when you evict them, you have a pretty good job of getting them out and keeping them out. So that is what I did for the first 5 years with the company that I work for now, and then I transitioned into a role now where I do governance. So I lead the team that does that kind of work for us internally, as well as do like our governance work. So if we got to like all the different government agencies or different agencies that we have to be compliant with, like my team makes sure that we're doing that. So we do our pen tests and we do our phishing and we do all this kind of thing. So in a long short, that's what I do in my professional careers. It's pretty much largely been information security. Most of it been on the attacking side. It's a lot of fun. If you guys are looking at getting into a job and you want one of the coolest jobs ever, man, hacking into networks for a living is a lot of fun. It gets old after a while, but it's still tons of fun because you get to do all the bad stuff and you get to always stay current on the latest state of the art. And it's cool. I mean, like literally the differences between like what we did and what black hats do or people that are criminals do. The only big difference is consent, is permission, right? Like we had permission to be able to do it. So that was the cool thing. And some of the jobs, if you've ever gotten this field, if you worked for like some of the more boutique shops, like I did work for a while for the company called Offensive Security, the people that make I think it's called Kali Linux, but it used to be called Backtrack. And when you work for more boutique shops, you're able to do jobs where your pen test, instead of it being like a week or two, it's like a 6-month one where you get to go out and like really do a full scope job and do some really cool work where they had the funding to go out and find like 0 days in the environment and the software they were using. So it's a lot of different levels to it. And if you're someone that likes learning and likes a constant challenge and likes to do really cool work that most of which you'll never ever be able to talk about, then pen testing, I highly recommend it. So if it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's still a good field to get into because it's not something that not yet is going to be automated by AI. There's still a science and an art to it that people will still be doing it for a while anyway. All right, so there you go. No name. That's my professional career in a nutshell. And then next up, we have a few more questions before we knock this off because we're coming up on 4 hours. Joshua Araya says, "Hey Ron, do you apply carbon kit at 3 ounces per thousand or 2 ounces per thousand?" Yeah, so 3 ounces per. You can do 2 ounces or 3 ounces. I do 3 ounces per thousand. Either one will work well. Joshua, the range for 901C and NutriKelp is anywhere between 2 ounces per thousand all the way up to 7 ounces per thousand. So 3 ounces, when I did that video years ago, and I should probably just do another one, do a new one. 2 ounces per thousand is what I settled on. I bumped it up by 1 ounce, so a little bit. And I like that. And that's what I've been running for the last few seasons. So I just need to redo that video. So that way it's just consistent. So 3 ounces per thousand is what I would do. All right. And then next up, let's see what we got here. We're winding down. And we got Joshua. He says, when you spread fertilizer or granular fertilizer and spray liquids when you spoon feed, do you do it on the same day since you're not supposed to water in the liquid fert, or do you do them separately? Yes. So I do them on the same day, Joshua. What I would do is I would say today, we woke up this morning and we were going to go do fert. We're going to do the spoon feeding program on your lawn. The first thing I would do is I'd put out anything that's granular. So Essential G and your granular fertilizer. Then I would spray your liquids, and that's it for the day. You're done. The following day, so tomorrow, run your irrigation to water the fertilizer in. So there's a day between when I put the granular fertilizer out and when I water it in. So that's how you take care of that. Because you are correct. The liquid fertilizer and Primo, the growth regulators, you're not supposed to water them in after application, so you don't do that. You spray them after the granular, and then you wait 24 hours and run your irrigation then. So that's how I would do it. And then let's see here. Jeremy White says, what are the must-have cartridges you would say when having an allet? The verticutter and turf rake. Those are the two that I would say you definitely want to get. Verticutter and turf rake. I mean, here's the thing. I'd say verticutter and turf rake are more important than even the cutting unit. Like, in other words, I could see owning an allet and using it just for verticutting and turf raking and having a different mower for mowing the grass if you wanted to, because the verticutting and turf rake are such a specialized thing, and there's not really an easy way to do that on residential lawns that also make the process easy, right? The biggest thing with doing it with, say, like a Sterling or like the Evolution that I have is that it has a big old grass catcher on the front. So all the debris when you're doing this, all that trash goes into the basket. So it makes the job a lot easier. Whereas if you use like a Sunjo or some of the other options for verticutting or turf raking, is like a lot of the debris stays in the lawn. So then you have to come back afterwards and rake it up and get rid of it, which is kind of a pain, right? But outside of the cutting unit, Jeremy, the verticutter and turf rake are the ones that I would recommend. Turf rake and verticutter. Those are the two that are the ones you absolutely want to get. Worth the money. Let's see. Jimmy Miller says, how do you apply Release 901C and the carbon kit without a backpack sprayer? Backpack sprayers are not an option since the weight of one would crush me like a bug. You're gonna need some. You're gonna want some kind of a pressurized sprayer. So if you have like I've seen it where you can take like the like you know those big Lesco, granular sprayers or spreaders rather. There are spray rigs you can take and put inside those, and you could spray them that way. So if you don't have a backpack sprayer, there are spray rigs you can use where you can use your broadcast spreader, and like the tank just kind of fits in there, and there's like 3 or 4 nozzles, and you can just walk over your lawn and spray that way. I mean, you're talking about something that's like, I think they're expensive. They're close to $1,000 for just the spray rig plus the spreader. So it's not inexpensive, but it's a way for you to do that if you can't carry the weight of a backpack sprayer, because you can't apply you can't apply like a Primo with a like a hose end sprayer, and the carbon kit. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way either. I mean, Miramichi has guidance on the labels for doing drench applications, but that's really for like trees and shrubs and that kind of thing. On a lawn, you really want to be using it with a fine droplet spray tip. So if you can't use a backpack sprayer, some kind of a push spray rig is what I would say to go with, Jimmy. And then next up we have Barry McCain. McCain says, with my new lawn, how long should I wait to top dress and even it out? It bottoms out in some spots to my real mower. What would be a good mix of sand and soil? Also, do you cut before top dressing? Yeah, so if you have a new lawn, once you're regularly mowing it, you can top dress it. So that's thing one. As far as a good mix of sand and soil, I like a 70-30 blend. A lot of places that will sell soft top dressing mixes, for example, if you get the super sod mix that that they offer, it's 70% sand and 30% compost. That would be good. And then do you cut before top dressing the lawn? It depends on how tall your grass is. If really you want the lawn to be an inch or shorter to make spreading the sand and moving it around easier. The taller it is, the higher it gets, the more work it is. Because what tends to happen is the sand gets hung up in the grass, and it's more work with the leveling rig to kind of knock it outside the canopy and get it down onto the actual surface. And you avoid that, or that process becomes a lot easier if you are just if the grass is shorter. So if you can mow your lawn at an inch or 3/4 of an inch, just shorter is better. That is going to make the process of spreading the sand a lot easier. So that's what I would recommend. And Barry, if you happen to live in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, some parts of Alabama and Tennessee, then this is the leveling mix that I would say to go with, because it is really clean stuff. There's no trash in it. And that's a big part of the time-consuming part of top dressing, is getting all the debris and garbage out of the lawn after you put out products that have, like, sometimes stone and bark and peanut shells and all this kind of stuff. So there you go. Next up, we got Phantom Works. Is what is the Lawn Academy? The Golf Course Lawn Academy is our paid course. That that takes a lot of. You go here to Lawn Academy. It takes a lot of what is in the YouTube content and distills it. So if you want to learn a lot of what I talk about and what I teach as far as how I would care for a lawn, you can simply watch all the YouTube content and weed through all the hundreds and hundreds of, at this point, thousands of pieces of content that will, and find nuggets here and there. The Academy is 22, 23 videos that distill a lot of that down into the stuff that you need to know to get you the knowledge to get you on your way. With that, you also get access to a private Facebook group that has, again, a lot of folks that are really, really dedicated to their lawns. It's a great place to get help. And just, like a drama-free zone, is what I always like to say. And then what else? What are the benefits to it? You get a discount on Miramichi Green products within the Golf Course Lawn Store. So there's a way to save a little bit of money on products you're going to be applying regularly. So yeah, it's the Academy is our paid course for that does all those things. So it's a one-time purchase. You only have to buy it once, and as long as I'm around, as long as the internet's still around, you'll have access to it. So that is what it is. That is what it is. Sam S says, "Thank you for all your advice and suggestions. You're our yard hero." You're very welcome, Sam. I've been called a lot of things. I've not been told lawn hero, but I appreciate it. And then he says, "No, not for fighting. I was just thinking, who do you think is the GOAT?" Oh man, the GOAT. Oh, I don't know, man. That's hard. I mean, it's hard to say not GSP. It's hard to not go GSP. I mean, if you really want, he didn't fight that much, but I think you also got to put, and I'm probably going to get hate for this, Jeremy, but I think you also got to put like Khabib in there, right? I think Khabib is pretty. I mean, because the way that he beat the best people at his, the way Khabib did Conor and did everybody else. I mean, he made him. It was not nice. He was not a nice guy. So yes, while I get like John Jones, you'd be like genuinely afraid for your life if you got in the ring with him. Like, it'd be like going into box like Mike Tyson. You'd be genuinely afraid that I could literally die if I could do this. And GSP, I don't think that you have that level of fear, but as far as him being able to beat you on the ground or beat you with stand-up, like GSP just was like the total package. And then I know that he didn't have as long a career, and some people say he retired too early, but I really like Khabib. I would put him in that in that mix up as well too. So you probably disagree with me, but I like Khabib. I can't say for sure, but between Jones and GSP, I'm probably gonna have to go GSP. I'm gonna have to go GSP because GSP was never accused of any kind of enhancements, we will say. So I think you gotta give it to him. And GSP fought guys that were on gear and still beat him. So you gotta give him respect for that as well too. So I don't know. I think if you make me choose between Jones and GSP, both really scary, but I think you got to give the nod to GSP. But Khabib is still one of my favorites to watch, man, because the way he just dominated folks was pretty cool. Anderson's also really good too. I mean, you got a bunch, man. You know, I think you're kind of going kind of thin on as far as people that could be, you know, that you could give the goat tag to. I think Anderson, you got to put some respect on his name too. But yeah, all right. So next up is Chris Porter. He says, I'm in cybersecurity as a federal contractor, over 20 years of experience. He says, great job. Do you work remote? Yes. Yeah, I work largely remote. Now I do. When I worked for CSC, some of the stuff that we did, you couldn't, like, for example, you go to some energy sites, you you're working remotely. You're gonna come here and do the work here, and they even we even issued laptops. We could build them out and set up all our tools and everything, and then you could pull, and then you need to get to take the machine with you. So yeah, so for that job, a lot of the work we actually had to be on site for, but here largely for the company I work for now, it's largely remote. And it's gotten better now. Now you can do even internal pen testing remote, right? You just send them like a box, or if they have like a virtualization environment, you can send them a VM, and you can just do all your testing from within inside the network. So these days, remote testing, even for internal work, has gotten a lot better. So, all right, No Name says, thanks, Ron, you're very welcome. He says, always best advice, you're very welcome, thank you so much. And then we are winding down. And DeMarcula says, greetings, Ron. Enjoy the live today. Thanks for all you do. You are very welcome. I guess this means y'all are all leaving me, right? You're trying to say it's time to wrap it up. We're at 4 hours. I'm talking too much. That's kind of what I'm hearing. Adam Carter says, Ron, is this going to be normal to have live streams on much more than Friday nights? I don't know. Maybe if you guys like it. I mean, I don't want to necessarily always schedule them, but what I'll do is maybe 10, 15 minutes out, if I got time, and I will just, I'll schedule it, and you guys will get the notification from YouTube, and we'll do that. But yeah, I have spoken about in the past about doing live streams other than just on Fridays. Like I was considering doing one for just Academy members on another day of the week where we could actually do video, where they could come on video too, and then we could have like a back and forth, and they can like show me stuff in their lawn and this kind of thing. So to where it's more a bit more interactive than just you doing questions. But I've not gotten a whole lot of people that actually want that. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess less work for me. But to answer your question, Adam, yeah, whenever I have the time, especially when there's like a weekend like this, then yeah, I will. Yeah, why not? Because it was raining today too. It was raining this morning, so I couldn't get out and mow. So it's this, or like there's no Formula One on, this, or like watch TV or read or whatever. So I just figured, hey, why not get on and chat with you guys, talk about lawn care. All right, next up is Fresh Apples. He says, what is the best way to apply granular fertilizer? Do you have a chart to see how to make paths and what spacing? I don't have a chart because it varies, Fresh Apples, based on the spreader. The Earthway, the one that I use, the width it casts is pretty broad, 7 feet, maybe a little bit wider. The idea is whenever you're making a pass with the spreader, you want the edges of the swath of where it's throwing to be into like where the tracks were of the previous one. So whenever I'm spreading, using my spreader on the lawn, if you could watch my tire tracks, they are about 6 feet apart. They're about 5 to 6 feet apart as far as width goes. So, but that's for my particular spreader. Different spreaders are different, but for the Earthway, for me, 5 to 6 feet apart between passes works pretty well. I get pretty even coverage doing it that way. So give that a shot. You're very welcome, Chris. And then Timothy Smith says, happy Memorial Day, Ron. Thanks for your service to all those who have served. Thanks for the service for all those who have served and are actively serving. Have the zoysia in my backyard because it grows more slowly than any as I have soja in my backyard because it grows slowly. Any benefits to using PGR? Yeah, there's still benefits to it. I mean, because outside of it growing slowly, like the color is better with growth regulator. You get some added disease resistance with growth regulator. So reduced mowing is just one of them. And as far as service, I didn't serve in the military. The most I can say I've ever did for the armed forces is I've taught courses, I've taught training, provided training to one of our branches that does cyber work, like offensive cyber work. So that's the extent of it. But I was never enlisted in the military directly. It's just because my contribution is teaching our guys and gals how to do bad stuff to other people with a computer when it's authorized. So that's the extent of it. But I didn't actually not in any military branches or anything like that. I didn't serve. All right, next up is Terrence Stamps. He says, "Hi Ron, I hope has been a safe and fun holiday weekend. It's been good. It's been good, man. Not bad." And then Jeremy says, "When you giving away that Greens Master?" No, I can't give away the Greens Master, man. What kind of craziness are you talking about? I don't ever recall ever saying I was going to giving away. Well, not my Greens Master. If the channel gets to be a lot bigger than it is now, it's nowhere near big enough to where we can afford to give away a mower. That could be a thing. But like my personal Greens Master, no, man, I can't do that. I still need it. Let's see. Toucan Sam says, "A spoon feeding Primo Max on my lawn a week ago, and I'm already seeing the results." Yeah, it shouldn't take very long. Like once you start spraying Primo, 3 days later, 2-3 days later, you should see the growth on your lawn really slow down. So it shouldn't take long for you to visibly notice the difference. Adam says, "Yeah, tell me about it. I live in Douglasville and I lost power when the storms came through a couple of minutes." Yeah, we had some really like loud thunder, but it's cleared up. It's looking, again, I can't see out the window very clear right now, but it's bright outside, bright and sunny. So I think it is gone. And our last comment is from Jimmy. He says, "Use your spreader early on the morning when the dew's on the ground. It allows you to see your tire marks and when you throw down fert." That's a good tip as well too, Jimmy, especially if you're brand new and you're getting into it. That's a good way of judging how wide your passes need to be. Well, guys, gals, again, thanks for hanging out this morning and early afternoon with me as far as chatting about lawn care. And hopefully you guys have had a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend. You got out and mowed your lawn, barbecued, thanked someone for their service. If you're not, do that. Thank someone for their service, because it's only because many people paid the ultimate sacrifice that we get to enjoy all these great freedoms in this nation of ours. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys on Friday. Take care.